Bro Sanchez, just one who's out there in the fight to teach. Bro Sanchez, you got the story right, and now I see, yeah. Bro Sanchez.
Peace and much love. Welcome back. Peace and love, y'all. It's a lot of stuff that I gotta inform the people of. It's my duty, so I'm right back at you one more again with some informative, enlightening information. And you know, before I even get into this, I'm going to say, don't let none of this put your spirits in fear or anything like that. Like anytime I'm covering these things, it ain't to fearmonger. It's just to inform you on what's going on. And in my opinion, the collective awakening has triggered these intricate series of events that's playing out on the world stage, which is why awakening is synonymous with all of these series of events that was prophesied by so many ancients at this time. They knew that the sign that we were in the times was the collective awakening. Even in the Bible, it's called Revelations because something is being revealed that's going to trigger the true power in this world to show its ugly face and for what it really is. And that's where we're headed now, into tyranny. A dictatorship. Salutes everybody. I'm going to get right into it. We're going to talk about Netanyahu's plan for American critics. It involves a police state or surveillance state. See, everyone is blaming Trump for Palantir, for the police state that's coming, the military presence. They blaming Trump, but they don't understand Trump has been bought by Israel. I mean, Israel is basically our government. You're in the United States of Israel. Somebody put it in the chat room earlier. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is basically me coming back. I talked about this in my previous stream, and I went into Israel's plan to control social media in America and to control the Skynet drone surveillance system here in America. And their promise is to give us zero crime. So notice that the Prime Minister of Israel is promoting the idea that excuse me. Excuse me. Hold up. Listen, y'all. Why the hell is Israel pushing the black violence narrative when they're a whole nother country and they should be focused on their own domestic affairs? Listen. Israel pushing black violence, it's because a surveillance state in America, a Zionism surveillance state in America has to be justified. Now, I got receipts today. I'm going to blow y'all away. I'm going to show you. We've been giving Israel money, right? Israel been turning right back around, giving that money right back to America in the form of giving us money for drones. Israel has been giving us money to help police social media, for anti-Semitism. Israel been giving American so many hundreds of millions of dollars for public safety measures. And you got to understand, why is Israel spending more money on American safety than its own country? Oh my God. I'm finna break so much stuff down for y'all today, man, that ain't nobody talking about, because they falling for the Charlie Kirk thing and they don't see the previous stream gonna show you how that's an agenda that tie into all his other New World Order agendas. But in the previous stream, I brought up the police state, the surveillance state that's coming. That is Israel's doing, and that people don't realize there's a foreign country that has infiltrated the American system of government and is now waging a war against American people. And I'm not just using my words for fear mongering. And when I say waging war, I mean really waging war against American people. In fact, let me let you hear it out of the Prime Minister mouth himself.
To do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster.
You want to know why nothing happens for the people? Because I keep telling y'all, your vote don't matter. What did Netanyahu just say? He said all of this is done with money. Netanyahu is telling you right now, and let me rewind this just so I can show y'all what they trying to do, first of all. So I can show y'all what they trying to do.
So eventually, TikTok did get sold to an American company. That company is owned by Oracle. And the person that owns Oracle is Larry Ellison. He's a billionaire who is Jewish. And so when TikTok got sold to Oracle, guess what happened?
And the algorithm, I know this is a question many of you have had, will be secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control.
Did you guys hear that? The algorithm will be retrained? Now, they did mention that while the algorithm will be retrained, you'll still be able to see other videos from TikTok across the world. But the United States algorithm will be retrained under the control of Oracle. And Larry Ellison likes control a lot. He's talked about it in the past.
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior.
Why do we have people from Israel trying to police American citizens? This is what y'all gotta ask. Don't you know that the new police authority in this land is gonna be a foreign entity? And you telling me we ain't going into a third world type situation to where the power in this land it is not even a reflection of the indigenous inhabitants of the land? Did you hear me? That man just said, if you want stuff done, all we need is money. Netanyahu said take money to do what they trying to do here. He didn't say it take voting power. We need to get the votes from the left or the right. No, they need to get backers. They need to get the people at the World Economic Forum involved, all these different powerful groups that really run the world. But this dude is a Jew. He's, another guy that's worked in the bed with Netanyahu. So you got Israel is acting like America is an extension of it versus we're an ally. It's like, this my other little country over here, you know what I'm saying? And when my people and when the sheeple over here get out of line, your controllers step up their authority. And who's stepping up the authority? Netanyahu, Larry Ellison, the tech bros who are all bought by the Zionists. All right. So let's play the video.
because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
So here he's talking about the future.
So how does it sound to y'all Americans that Israel is going to be in control of policing, surveilling Americans and all that? And we see how tyrannical they are with anti-Semitism policies. So this ain't a good look, I'm going to tell you now.
Of AI. He wants to control, or AI will control everything, all interactions.
So when they talk, hey, shout out to Lise, shout out to the sister Doe Eyes in the house. Much respect and much love to this sister. Said, blessings, bro Sanchez, stopping through. Thank you for stopping through and for supporting the show, sister. It's good to have you. So people, AI is like God. And guess who is the biggest influence of AI? Israel. This is what you got to realize. Israel is getting desperate because it's losing power. And in its desperation, it's going to become tyrannical. Even the Bible say that. And if Israel has the biggest influence in America's social media spaces, we're going to be the first ones directly affected by the Zionist desperate attempts to maintain a entity to fear. And I believe it's going to morph into more radical forms of oppression outside of freedom of speech because they got to shut your mouth before they start to go into other physical forms of oppression. People don't think that that's possible. But let me play this video. Israel want to control all, they want to be AI's overseer, while AI is the new police over humanity. Because you're going to have unmanned drone systems in the sky that's controlled by Israel. And Israel is going to be in control over the new communication layer that all of the Internet of Things is responsible for. In other words, all of our electronics is telling the powers that be everything about us every day in real time. And all of our electronics is basically an AI hive mind that is always listening to us and communicating with the hive mind. So who's going to be control over this whole other layer of government, this digital government that's right now cloaked beneath the regular society, but it will eventually be the regular society? Who's going to be controlling this IoT? Israel. Even the Bible say that. They even call it the new world, the new Western world is going to be the new Zion, as they call it, or the kingdom of Zion. And it's going to be a kingdom with no sin, or what they say, zero crime. Listen to this dude talk. He's telling you what the Bible said when they trying to build this new kingdom with zero crime. Check it out.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior.
This is the big brother kingdom of Zion that we climax to in the book of Revelation.
Because we're constantly.
It will eventually morph into something transhuman, like people getting chips to maintain this utopia, this digital utopia. It will morph into more radical technological extremes. You'll see.
Recording and reporting everything that's going on.
So here he's talking about the future of AI.
Once they get this implemented, this is the foundation of, if you don't get the mark, you can't buy and sell, because your social crediting score will directly reflect what you can and can't do in society, what jobs you can get, all of that stuff, right? It'll affect your status in commerce or as at business in this game of capitalism. So, I mean, you can look at the mark as deeper than just some technological device that they putting in you. You can look at the mark like a symbol next to your name in this new social crediting system that let the powers that be know you can be trusted. It can be, like a gray check on YouTube, some authentication badge, when they get all these things networked with the IoT and everyone's connected and they're using this already, but it's gonna become more and more public as we move on. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're eventually gonna have a ranking system based upon who's more of a threat and who's not. And I'm sure there will be rewards based upon, you so not a threat. You will have this sort of, ranking system. China got it. Top class citizens versus you ain't a good citizen. So it ain't like rich and poor. It's like obedient and disobedient. The new system ain't gonna be, well, you're a rich citizen, he's a poor citizen. It's gonna be, he's an obedient citizen, you're a disobedient citizen. That's why his money bigger than yours. It won't be called rich, it'll be called obedient. But when you think about it, the rich are the ones who obey the beast the most. The rich are the ones who selling us the Zion capitalistic agenda, taking the world to hell, right? So it ain't really, you think about the richest people basically are the most obedient to the agenda that this evil entity that run this world, that it want to manifest toward humanity. But let's show y'all the first steps of getting us toward this Zionist agenda.
He wants to control, or AI will control everything, all interactions. As you can hear it, the benefit of this is, it's going to keep everybody honest. That's interesting. But wait a minute. Here's some Israel politicians talking about social media.
The next thing we will do, is to put restriction on the social media in a way that not allowed to make brutal propaganda in the social media.
So those are Israel politicians talking about the fact that,
see, and let me just break down to y'all why this is so important. Because with all of the mass shootings, they have primed the atmosphere to say that the shooters are being influenced by social media. Social media echo chambers are fueling these vigilante domestic terrorists. And they also are saying that by using social media, sort of like how the FBI used the criminal, because the FBI got this big criminal network where every criminal in America that ever committed a crime, big or small, you go in a database. And it allows them to be able to track you and profile you with certain incidences that happen. For example, like if there's a crime in Wisconsin which revolves a hanging and a rope is tied a certain way, they can take a picture of the rope, put it in the database, and it'll pull up all of the criminals that have ever tied ropes that way in a murder. And it'll be able to use this profiling network to track down people to actions. And it is very accurate. And when you got AI, it'll get so accurate that this thing will be like God, man. It'll be so accurate to where if you drop a potato chip bag on the ground with nobody watching, they can track that potato chip bag directly back to you within a day. That's what I'm talking about, this kind of digital system. Won't nothing go unnoticed, unscanned, untrackable, or none like that. But the way they setting up the grounds for that right now is with mass shooters, right? With mass shooters. Now, people don't realize mass shooters is a psyop to bring us toward a surveillance system. And along with them trying to bring in a sort of a sky network of drones that's policing American citizens, they also want to really step their game up with social media censorship by saying that a lot of these crimes can be prevented by stopping people from spewing certain rhetoric online. And as well as that, aspect, they're also saying that we should train police to use social media more, which they've already been doing, to actually prevent crimes by seeing if people posting maybe anti-Semitic. If let's say you on Facebook talking about Netanyahu, okay, authorities are gonna, third-party companies, not the government, because listen, if the government directly spy on y'all, that's a crime. They can't do that. Let me give a shout out to Serrata. What about the zero crime for them pre-crime rules? For them pre-crime rules for thee, not for me, aristocrat, tech boy, transhumania, do not comply, family. Much love to Serrata, man, for real. Shout out to the sister. So, look at this where here it said, how social media can have an influence in attempted assassinations and mass shootings. Y'all see what I'm sharing on the screen here? So they want to, it's two things they want to crack down on. Your guns and your speech. Those are the first steps toward a third world state like China. That's the first step toward a dictatorship, an authoritarian government, right? And tyranny. Take away your guns and your speech. So like I was saying, they're gonna, you're gonna see a lot of stories about mass shootings, but the narrative that they're gonna have surrounding these mass shootings is gonna be, let's take away American speech and let's spy on them more. So we're gonna have a lot of mass shootings, and these are gonna be staged fake events with crisis actors and all that. But what these are going to bring us forth is this sky network of drone surveillance, a sky network of drone surveillance, as well as a dictatorship where you can't challenge the power in this land without going on some kind of database, some kind of list, and you may have a drone assigned to you. Hold on a second, everyone. One second. So we're going to come back to the two points. Social media censorship, or censorship in general, and more surveillance and policing you and Big Brother eye the sky. Let's go through the video, and I'm going to build with you some more to show you some more.
Social media needs to be controlled. Wait a minute, we're going down a rabbit hole here. And then you get conservatives that are on the extreme right that are not happy about this at all.
The American president has to stand up to this tiny country. For all people say, oh, you think they run the world? They're so tiny. The American president has to stand up to them and say, you are going to stop right now and you're going to obey. And if you don't, then we're going to pull the plug. I said it last night. It is past time for that to happen. But would you like to know why the American president can't do that? It's because they control our system.
Yep, they sure do. And even the white man know it. Even the white nationalists like Fuentes know that. Now let's hear what Netanyahu has to say about it all. And then we finna really turn up so I can share with y'all my receipts.
It is unique.
And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast money of governments.
And it ain't done with voting. I keep telling people, man, we got to vote for the right person and get them up in there, man. Man, Sanchez, we need to get one of our people in that seat, man. Does he got money? Because the people that's calling the shots are old-ass rich families whose pockets go deep, so deep, put her butt to sleep.
faster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into
Look at
that. We have to fight with the weapons.
What did he say? So what is Netanyahu saying? Netanyahu saying we got to take control over social media and we got to get these drones in the sky. Let me put the captions on in case you can't hear them. You can see the words. Let me play this.
The weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes.
This is a man who's at the brink of a freaking world war. And he's saying one of the main factors that's gonna influence Israel's support or non-support is gonna be social media. People, guess what? Guess what we're learning? Social media is so powerful in our time that the next world war that's fought on the earth is gonna be influenced by motherfucking TikTok. It's funny, but it's true. The next world war on the earth gonna have nations around the world trying to get control over Facebook, TikTok, X, and all that. And people be like, what the hell? Y'all fighting a war. Why are y'all worried about what people saying online? Bro, in a war, your nation needs support. If what people saying online is making sponsors not support you, your country can start seeing what you're saying online as a threat to national safety. This is how they're going to bring in the social credit score. This is how they're going to bring it in. And we see that Israel is already taking over all of the social media spaces, right? And they finna make it to where you're not going to be able to speak no anti-establishment stuff, bro. All right, because they're getting desperate. People losing support for Israel, even Americans. And instead of Israel listening to the criticism and changing how they move and doing the right thing, they just gonna go to war with the world. Israel and America gonna have so much ego, they're just gonna wage war on a world that has outnumbered them, and it's gonna lead to the fall of Babylon, just like the Bible said.
Goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X.
So wait a minute.
You got the prime minister of a nation that's at the forefront of the brink of World War III. And his main concern is getting control over social media and putting a drone network in the sky, not in his country, but in America. Not getting control over social media platforms in Israel, but in America. People need to realize how much power Americans got right now, but at the same time, that's going to cost us. Because they're saying, look, this social media thing getting dangerous. And remember, they're going to use the mass shooters to say, look, social media influencers are, too many of them are working with our enemies. And we need to have some kind of system to mark those who we deem are a threat. Even though you may have not done nothing, you may be a hard-working person, good tax-paying citizen, but they'll have you blackballed like China's social credit system, and you will be a targeted individual being watched. Just because the new war is going to be a civil war between government and the citizens. And them really trying to extend their authority and power on earth and create this tyrannical dictatorship I keep telling y'all about. But notice this. Notice that all of the Israel leaders are telling you we need more drone surveillance and social media control. And what do we see happening in America's media circus? Mass shootings. Guess what's going to kill two birds with one stone? Mass shooters. If people want to know why there's been so many mass shootings in the past couple of years, and all of them look the same with the shooter killing himself or being crazy, it's because this is a psyop. Who control all of these media platforms? Netanyahu. Yeah, the small hats, the Zionists. Israel controls all of the media outlets in America. Let me give a shout out to Gunho. He said a sound a clock makes. Our bomb is TikTok. Gunho, thank you, bro. It don't matter which company you listen to. All of them reading the same script. Because they control all these platforms. And every platform gonna have the same narrative after these shootings. Let's blame social media versus the damn shooter. Let's watch normal work. Let's put drones in the sky and let's surveil the ghetto and slums and normal working people. But these shooters come from the suburbs, y'all. That's right. Let's put a surveillance infrastructure up in the inner city, the metropolitan areas, certain zones, right? But these mass shooters don't come from none of those areas. Let's watch all the people that's mocking Charlie Kirk's death and not the ones that caused it. Remember, even Erica Kirk, the wife, she said, I forgive the shooter and his family, but we got to do something about these people that's mocking and all that and social media and all that. She didn't say it in those words, but in her words, that's what she's saying. Ain't that backwards, y'all? This is a psyop. Everybody's first response is, let's shut everybody up and police everybody. And ain't nobody waking up seeing what's going on. And one of the biggest third-party companies that's building these new drone automated security systems in America, guess what they're called, y'all? Flock safety. Oh, did that go over your head? Did that go over your head, man? They're called flock safety. What that means, Sanchez? I mean, a flock is like a whole bunch of animals that's being controlled. Yeah, this company is called Flock Safety. They're going to be one of the biggest government contractors when they go to implement these automated systems. But they always have a code in the name. And just think about that. Like, Flock Safety is literally telling you, we got we gonna make sure we keep your cattle safe. Well, not keep them safe, but we gonna make sure you safe from any potential threats that may be within your flock of sheep. You know, flock safety. But when I thought of the name, I said, now, boy, that's right in your face. Damn, flock safety. They don't even care. But listen to what Netanyahu said, because they all about social media censorship and drones in the sky. But I want to keep replaying this. I want him to be redundant. I want him to tell you his mission out of his mouth. It needs to be clear.
The base of our support in the United States, that is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have.
Netanyahu said this is a war, but he didn't tell you who the war on, because what he talking about right now ain't got nothing to do with the Gaza Strip. He talking about Israel's relationship with Americans.
Have a chance.
See, don't you know that your government can't have a foreign government in power in this land, exercising its power over Americans? That's like the American president, the American government, allowing the leader of China to come to America and whip Americans' ass because they talking crap about China. That's what we doing with Israel. We're literally letting the leaders of a whole nother country come into our country in America and beat up Americans for talking crap about their country. And y'all don't think that we going to hell in a handbasket. You don't think this thing is crazy now. See, because when you look at it like that, you see how silly it is. Because ain't no other country going to let American leaders come sit down in its seat of power and enforce its foreign power on that country's domestic citizens. If our president is in Jamaica and a Jamaican say, fuck Trump, the Jamaican government is not going to allow Trump to punish that Jamaican citizen. They going to tell Trump, look, our citizens can say what they want to say and we protect their freedom of speech. Now, if you want to beat up our citizen for saying fuck you, then now you got to go to war with us because we're Americans. You're a foreigner. And in our country, we allow our citizens to talk crap about foreign countries, and our military will protect American speech for them to be able to talk crap about your country. But guess what they doing in America? They saying, wait a minute, Israel, our Americans talking crap about you. Bring your leaders in and come sit down in here and beat them up. Which one of them you don't like? And our government is allowing a whole nother government, military, a whole nother damn nation to come into this land and punish Americans for using their freedom of speech. And they can get away with doing it because they operate outside the Constitution under the guise of private corporations, which is why Netanyahu is telling y'all all we need is money because the corporation's for sale. All we got to do is buy TikTok, buy Twitter, and we'll bring forth a dictatorship. He's telling you that right here. Listen, let's bring it back. That's why I keep bringing it back.
What we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle.
Netanyahu said his influencers are very important. Who are his influencers? The Candace Owenses, the Brandon Tatums, and so many more people selling us the Zionist agenda. These people have gotten some of that Netanyahu money. Yeah, they got some of that Israel money. But let me show y'all how deep it is. Shout out to Goon Ho. Politics is war without blood. War is politics with blood. Hell yeah. Let me show you how deep this go. See? Damn, it slipped my mind what I was going to say. Slipped my mind. Hold up. Let me take this go. And then more people selling us the Zionist agenda. These people have gotten some of that Netanyahu money. Yeah, they got some of that Israel money. And the thing I want to point out to y'all was this. Because it's such a scam. Y'all don't know how deep it go. The fact that America gives Israel hundreds of millions of dollars every year out of our tax dollars. Israel turns around and uses that money to buy Americans. Did you hear what I said? Israel is buying American puppets and lobbyists, is using the very taxpaying dollars that we given to Israel for war efforts to control our government and infiltrate places of power. It ain't using all that money just to go overseas and keep America safe. They taking we paying Israel all of this money every year. And they turn around and take this money and come and buy sellouts in America that's going to help sell their agenda against the American people's agenda. They're literally funding their own sinister agenda with American taxpayer dollars. Oh, my God. Just think about that a minute now.
You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is followers. TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X.
So wait a minute. This is Netanyahu.
Netanyahu talking about buying social media influencers and buying platforms. Come on, y'all. Because in the future, you won't need presidents. Casa not gonna have more influence than Donald Trump shit. Think about this now. You got social media influencers that are working directly for prime ministers, y'all. The world has changed. The world has changed. You literally got Donald Trump showing up on social media people YouTube pages because the politicians has realized that the social media influencers are garnering the kind of influence that they can only dream of. Like when you think about I Show Speed got a way bigger following than damn Joe Biden. I Show Speed probably run for president against Joe Biden and win. That's the world we live in today, y'all. So the fucking world leaders are saying we need to go get the social media influencers. And we need to buy social media platforms.
Yahoo saying that the main thing that they need to do is to control TikTok. And he wants the deal to go through. And guess what? It did go through. So rewind. So Donald Trump the entire time wanted to get TikTok for an American buyer. But there was only one American buyer he wanted to really sell it to. It was Oracle. Because Oracle is Jewish. And Netanyahu wants it to be owned by a Jewish person. Which means that, in theory, somebody could estimate or believe that TikTok's information or censorship will basically be on the behalf of Israel. That can be inferred because look at what Netanyahu just said. He is willing to pay not only to get TikTok if he needs to, but influencers. He's talking about.
You see that? Hey, D-Dub, thanks for the love. Flat power, quick take, bro Sanchez. This proves America is not what we've been told because everybody want a piece of her. Everybody got a piece of her. And the people that got the biggest piece of her are starting to let it be known right now. Wait a damn minute. We got the biggest piece of America and y'all gonna shut up talking about us, you Americans. It just so happened that the people who got the biggest piece of this American pie ain't even American. They some whole nother entities from a foreign country. Oh! That's the big problem in America. We've been invaded on an administrative level while we looking for armies to come over here with tanks and all that.
They have paid influencers because the people who are anti-Israel have money that they're paying. So therefore, he needs to pay. And guess who's one of the paid influencers for Israel? Now, let's talk about Brandon Tatum and his position on the black community. When it comes to the blacks, or at least when he first started, Tatum was interested in getting the white conservative dollar. And so he was saying things that racism is not really that big of a deal anymore. Black people are to blame. And we kind of heard that earlier in the video, but those were his talking points. But wait a minute, Tatum started falling out of favor, even with some of his black supporters, when he was downright just not telling the truth.
Most of the time, I agree with you. A lot of the times I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, we get the point with that, right? I want to play this for you now.
Of the Israeli government holding a private convention here in the United States. One of the people in attendance at this secret meeting was Judith Varnai Shorer. She's a former Israeli consul general who was operating out of Atlanta. She was one of the main people saying that the biggest problem that they had was young black people in the United States. But don't worry, they've got some black leaders on the payroll.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community.
Y'all hear that?
The problem of Israel.
So the leaders of Israel is saying that the major problem of Israel is the young black community. Of course, they talking about gangster culture, street culture. Now, here go the irony. Don't you know that the music industry is owned by Israel? Don't you know that the people who own all of these gangster rappers, masters, the people who own all of these drill rappers and gangster music, all of they masters, those are Jewish people. Those are Israeli people. Now, while they are profiting off of private prison systems and corrupted music in America, they're also demonizing that which they are funding and profiting off of as an excuse to say we need to put drones in Chicago. Sanchez, you making stuff up. They ain't talking about putting drones in Chicago. Let's talk about this real quick.
Drones are fast becoming the must-have tool in policing. Now the next generation is here. Tonight, the I-Team with drones that answer 911 calls on their own, and one of the first looks at an experimental drone system designed to foil would-be mass.
Now, when Trump was in office the first time and they rolled out Operation Warp Speed with the Corona beer, who was the first community to for them to experiment with this new medicine on? They don't know nothing about this medicine. They just want to put it in you. They don't know what it's going to do. But then they have black rappers talking about, girl, you look good. Won't you vax that thing up? They weren't promoting this with Kid Rock to the other people. See, because the first people that's going to always get affected first is, yep, you brown-skinned folks. So when anytime they want to run some experiments in America, they're going to start with the poor areas first. So look at here. Why do you think Israel is concerned about black crime, even though you're a whole nother nation? You ain't affected by black crime. You think Jews live in a fucking ghetto? Do you think small hats live in O Block, but they acting like they so in fear of black violence, right? Right? And what did Netanyahu say? That he wanted to put drones up there. And these folks know in America, you're going to be able to do it in the poor places first because the rich people going to push back more. Just like Elon Musk building his data centers in Memphis, making them people sick, and he's breaking regulations, EPA regulations, but you can do that in poor cities because if you got enough money, you can put a little money in the poor leaders in Memphis in their hand, and they'll cover for you while you pause in their people. More of this is coming. The tech bros is going to poison the water, the air. Our leaders are going to take the bag and let them do just what they doing in Memphis. They're going to let them put drones in Chicago. And before you know it, it's going to be spreading all through America. But it's going to start with the hood first. And that's with the pandemic. That's with the drone network and all that, bro. So, again, why the hell is Israel concerned with black crime? How is that affecting Israel? But if you think about it too, remember that Brandon Tatum did an interview with Netanyahu. What does Brandon Tatum push? Brandon Tatum pushes black people are the worst people in America. That's what Netanyahu pushing. Again, this man sold out, and there are a lot of conservatives, they sold out to the Zionist agenda. Here, see,
Hamas has been shooting.
Why do you think Brandon Tatum is all about overreacting about the violent situation in America, overreacting about mass shooting, overreacting about the ghetto and black violence? You need people like him to get us to this surveillance state that Israel wants. And to censor people on social media. When Charlie Kirk died, all of the Brandon Tatum people, the far rights, was like, it's so wrong for us to even be questioning the validity of his death, the agenda behind it. And they was more concerned with y'all saying it's fake than even the people that's mocking his death. Because if you go to Officer Tatum channel, he ain't really talking about the people that's mocking Charlie Kirk's death. He's trying to talk about the people that's coming with the conspiracy theories and all that. Why? Because Netanyahu, listen, the world is a stage. Everything is fake. And they really concerned about the woke folks waking everybody else up, which is why they want to take control over social media. And they want to put them drones up there because everybody that's woke gonna be watched. And yeah, everybody that's selling us out, they got to push like the white nationalist, Christian nationalist agenda, because that's Zionism. So they gotta act like it's the hood, the violence in the hood is out of control. Bring in your fucking whatever you got, give it to us in the hood, because we're just so damn in fear, right? And so here we go.
Drones are fast becoming the must-have tool in policing. Now the next generation is here. Tonight.
Now keep in mind, we just heard this man say that he want these drones. And we just heard that the Israeli leaders say that the young black generation is the major problem. What does the young black generation got to do with Israel, y'all? It's the fact that Israel is America's new police system, y'all. It ain't gonna be, people keep saying the Chinese gonna come into America and take over and police our citizens. Nope, Israel gonna do it, sir. Israel has already infiltrated. They military soldiers can join our military, but our soldiers can't join theirs. That's a conflict of interest. You know our secrets, but we don't know yours. People, y'all need to think about everything I'm telling you, but for you folks in Chicago, I ain't gonna keep teasing y'all with this video. I might as well play it. It's only 3 minutes here.
Drones are fast becoming the must-have tool in policing. Now the next generation is here. Tonight, the I-Team with drones that answer 911 calls on their own, and one of the first looks at an experimental drone system designed to foil would-be mass shooters.
At the suburban Oak Brook Police Department, much like other agencies, drones are deployed and directed by humans.
We deploy them quite often.
Just last month, the department was called to...
But the question we really need to be asking, when the last time we had a mass shooter in fucking O-Block? Because don't you know a mass shooter and a drive-by shooter is a different thing. Now, yeah, in Chicago, you got rooftop snipers. But remember, they're doing all this in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death, right? These are what they call political violence. So on one hand, y'all want to say it's political violence because you don't want to say white violence. But we don't see political violence in Chicago. We see gang violence. But what have I been telling y'all? They're going to use all of the mass shooting propaganda to target black people. And people thought I was playing the race card. You thought I was playing because all of the big military weapons and police shit they got, that's for the po folks, bro. I already know what I'm talking about, man. So they talking about mass shooters, but they want to put these drones in the high crime areas. You see the conflict, like they doing that on purpose because high crime ain't being specific to the fact that you're implementing this under the guise of political protecting leaders, protecting Trump, who just got shot, Charlie Kirk. You can't create a psyop that's based on political violence, then respond to niggas in O Block. How that makes sense? Because I don't see no gang members partaking in political violence. But let's watch the video.
At the suburban Oak Brook Police Department, much like other agencies, drones are deployed and directed by humans.
We deploy them quite often.
Just last month, the department was called to help state police track down a person fleeing a vehicle wanted in connection with a shooting. The drone's thermal imaging technology helps spot and pinpoint that person fleeing. Now the department is going to the next level with a drone as a first responder.
It's not operated by someone traditionally
And I know what the hell I'm talking about because I'm going to tell you why. I come from a poor ass city, Birmingham and Bessemer, Alabama. And these cities are fucking poor, but they are so violent, full of violence. And guess where all the money go? To the police department. You know what's crazy? When the police chief and the mayor are the richest people in your city, you know you living in one of these cities I'm talking about because look, a lot of the money that they put into these police departments are coming directly from taxpayer dollars, but also third-party entities that's donating to help fight crime in America, like Israel. Yeah, and I got receipts. I'm going to show y'all how much money Israel has given the American government to put cameras on our streets and all that. And you got to ask yourself, why can't our government just do that with our tax money? Because if our government do it with our tax money, our government got to abide by the Constitution when they use these public cameras that was bought by the public. But if the government can have a third party come in and say, hey, we're doing this for public safety. We gonna have a government contract. If our government grant them a contract, now instead of the cameras being owned by the U.S. government, they're owned by a third-party private company, and they don't gotta be as transparent on what they doing with the data, which is policing your ass. So we finna go to my receipts about how much money Netanyahu been giving the police in America and who paying for all of these surveillance system, because we just heard Netanyahu say what he want to do. But again, peep game how y'all want to neutralize mass shooters, but you starting in the ghetto with the Sky Network as if mass shooters is in the hood when they come from the suburbs.
Holding a joystick, it's able to deploy itself.
The drone, made by Flock Safety, uses AI technology that's tied into the command center and deploys on its own from a roof to specific 911 calls.
Getting eyes on the ground prior to officers' arrival, that's going to be huge.
In North Suburban Libertyville, several former Navy SEALs and a business entrepreneur are working on the next aerial technological evolution.
Now it's locked on to Nate. As Nate presents, it strikes at Nate, so that's the show of force that we're talking about.
You're watching an indoor drone designed to detect and potentially stop a mass shooting on its own before police even have a chance to respond.
The drone is looking for a threat who's carrying a weapon.
Members of Great Court Solutions demonstrating their close-quarter drone for the I-Team, equipping...
Kept teasing y'all with it. I'm waiting to get to my receipts, but I'm trying to see how many clips I had for y'all before I break this stuff down. real quick. Hold on. So yeah, we've been peeping game here. We saw that one. It's a couple of more. I think it's another one. Yeah, this one. I don't know if we played it.
Well, could AI and drones be the answer?
Okay. So everything Netanyahu said he want to implement, we see the fucking news outlets in America repeating it. Now, remember what I played for y'all earlier. Netanyahu is saying we need to take control over the sky with the drones so we can surveil potential domestic terrorists, and we need to militarize social media with a profiling system. Did y'all ever think that Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all of that would become the new FBI criminal profiling network system? Like, they do got this system with the police, like I kept telling you. It's a worldwide database. And a criminal can't go nowhere and not be tracked once he's in that system. And that's what Facebook is. It's basically an extension, right? When people say, man, the FBI own Facebook, the FBI own, yes, they can go on there, pull up all of your profiles, and they can track your behavior, and all of your profile activity online is linked to your phone locations, your phone activity. All of this stuff is tracking you. We already in the beginning. The foundation is there. They just got to get the people on board with it through a series of psyops and mass shootings. All right? So I got to play this one more time from the jump because new people are joining. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson for good journalism and good content that make it easy for me to just go right to the receipts. Got to thank the brother for that, man. Appreciate you.
This is a question many of you have had, will be secured, retrained, and operated in the United States outside of ByteDance's control.
Did you guys hear that? The algorithm will be retrained? Now, they did mention that while the algorithm will be retrained, you'll still be able to see other videos from TikTok across the world. But the United States algorithm will be retrained under the control of Oracle. And Larry Ellison likes control a lot. He's talked about it in the past.
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on.
Now, the name of the company that's going to be Big Brother, that's going to be the digital police system under the New World Order, it's called Oracle, people. And at this time, I want to go on some little esoteric information because ain't nothing by mistake. This man is talking about a new system that's going to bring zero crime by being a god, an eye in the sky, basically. And after he give his little spiel, I'm going to break down y'all the esoteric meaning of Oracle so you can see how they telling you right in your face what's going on.
In the past.
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because
the Oracle in the Matrix know everything. She knows it all.
As we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
So here,
now look, here go what Oracle mean. A message from a god expressed by divine inspiration through a priest or priestess. In answer to a human inquiry, usually respecting some future event. Wow. Oracle is a temple or a house of prayer. I like this esoteric connection here, but I'm just reading it over here. The agency or medium of a god. Also the place where such divine utterances were given. All right. Just wanted to go into that real quick. And then now we can go back to the agenda behind all this. So let's break some down to y'all real quick. Let me give you some facts. So there is evidence and reporting suggesting cooperation or overlap in surveillance, intelligence, and technology between Israel and the U.S., though many details are contested by people who say that's conspiracy theory. You'll realize that it ain't such conspiracy theories anymore when we're pulling up interviews like what I just did from O'Shea Channel, and it's coming directly from the horse's mouth. That's right. These people ain't, they open about what they about to do with you. You just got to read between the lines. Now, hold on a second. So there are shared intelligence and signals intelligence relationships between Israel, America, worldwide AI, China, the UN, and all that. What I'm telling you is that the world is going into a police state, but they ain't gonna tell us that. It's gonna look more like a technological transitioning to where it's a new world of digital, more digital world. And because the world is becoming more digital, governments are going to create narratives to say we now have to police the digital space more, you know? But Israel and the U.S. have a deep intelligence partnership, including sharing of signals, human intelligence, and cyber tools. And this kind of cooperation is typical among allies, and it's difficult to fully trace in public sources because much is classified. But the use of Israeli surveillance systems, or the use of Israeli surveillance firms by U.S. agencies include Paragon Solutions. Our government is contracting a third party called Paragon Solutions. And this Paragon Solutions is an Israeli spyware company. And Paragon has reportedly sold its spyware product, Graphite, to U.S. government agencies. But what you got to realize is this. When our U.S. government agencies do deals like this, they are now incorporating a third party into U.S. government affairs, and it can risk data leaks of American citizens and all that. These foreign companies can say, you know what, we don't like you no more, America. And you know that company, we sold your government, we still got copies of all the citizens involved, and we gonna use it to target Americans, right? That's actually happening right now. But it's showing you the underhanded stuff that our government been doing with our tax dollars, because you don't have to outsource a lot of third-party contracting work when you got all of these tax dollars to hire American people. In other words, there should be so many government jobs available to American citizens, but it's not, because they allowing corporations to monopolize these government contracts, because if they keep it under the American public the right way, it's a system of transparency. But when you want to privatize government, you got to contract all of this work that's involved in policing Americans. You see what I'm saying? Think about what I'm saying. When you go to another country and it comes to them policing their own citizens, they ain't got a third party foreign corporation doing that. Why would you do that? Your citizens paying you good money for their safety, for their public safety system. You're making hundreds of millions of dollars. All you got to do is increase your police forces or whatever you're going to do, but it can be all domestic based. You don't need a third party. We don't got to get no stranger involved in our domestic affairs. While you got people trying to work government jobs and you saying ain't none available, but you giving all these contracts to foreigners. These should be government departments being created with tax dollars. Instead, is money going into the hands of other nations that ain't even coming back to America, and they turning around using the money to wage war on us, to usurp our government. It's out of control in America, man. So you got this company called Paragon Solutions. They are literally an Israeli spyware company that was working with our government as a third-party contractor, but some suggest that the contract between Paragon and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, was paused for review in 2024, but that the pause was later lifted. But that's neither here nor there. The point is what I just said. So more broadly, Israeli tech and surveillance firms are part of a surveillance ecosystem that has commercial links to U.S. agencies or contractors. More broadly, Israeli tech and surveillance firms are part of a surveillance ecosystem that has commercial links to U.S. agencies. Let that sink in. Let's talk about cloud and infrastructure ties, because a notable investigation by The Guardian and Israeli/Palestinian outlets revealed that Israel's Unit 8200 has used Microsoft's Azure cloud infrastructure to store and analyze very large volumes of intercepted communications from Palestinians. Let that sink in. It's a rumor that the Israeli military, it's basically a military cyber unit, right, for the Israeli army called Unit 8200, but they ain't like your regular infantry. They like a cyber infantry. They're like a tech force for the military. And they've used Microsoft Azure Cloud to get data on Palestinians in this country, y'all. Oh my God! Why is that important? If they can do it to the Palestinians, they can do it to any American, right? That's something to think about. They was able to get phone calls, text messages, and all of that, man. And remember, the government don't got to let the people know none of this, because this would all be considered classified. Now think about that. You got a third-party stranger in your land that know more about the safety and who's who in your infrastructure than American citizens. How that makes sense? Your government working with a foreign entity to police domestic citizens, and it has a system of secrecy where it ain't got to tell the Americans none of the data that the private third-party contractor is getting from y'all and using against y'all, how it's policing you, what it's doing. So our government have found a way to get around transparency. They found a way to get around the Constitution, and they found a way to build a dictatorship right on top of the Constitution and bypass everything through private third-party entities doing what the government can't. And that is being exploited. And Americans need to be bringing that up. An investigation claims that the Israeli unit obtained a segregated environment in Azure for sensitive workloads and interacts with Microsoft engineers and infrastructure, suggesting a degree of technical cooperation between the Israel's military and the tech brother takeover in America. So you got all of these social media platforms in America, and they are owned by small hats. And these platforms have a lot of sensitive data on all Americans, right? And The people who are able to access this information aren't even Americans. People, that's a conflict of interest. That's like me and you going to another country and the government say, come here, man, let me show you all this private information I got about my citizens. Because you my homeboy. You know we cool, Israel. Our government is sharing information about citizens to foreign militaries. What the hell? Don't you know we got a military to protect us from foreign militaries having American data? That's a form of spying. Don't you know that the American government has a military to protect us from spies? We have a cyber unit in our American military. Their job is to prevent any foreign nation from spying on Americans. I got news for y'all. Israel is a foreign nation, man. That's right. Israel is a foreign nation. That American, we keep saying our own military ain't gonna turn on us. Boy, they ain't gonna use the American military. And China ain't coming over here to police Americans in the streets. I keep telling y'all that half of the American military is Jews and Israelis. And if they ain't Jews or Israelis, they're Zionists. They are Torah believers, Bible pushers. They connected spiritually to the Zionist agenda. Facts. They under some Abrahamic faith. You keep talking about people ain't gonna turn against their own people. First of all, when you sign a contract in the military, you're gonna do what you told because it'll cost you your life. Just like when you join a gang, you ain't gonna just do what the hell. If the gang say, nigga, you gotta go and take your cousin out because he working with the ops, you gotta kill your own cousin for that gang. Y'all got a dumb way of thinking. When you join the damn mob or the mafia, they own you. They tell you who to kill and who not to. If you're a damn sniper for the military and they say, listen, Sergeant John, we found out that your uncle working for the Palestinians. We found out your uncle is a spy and you the closest one to him. So you got to do what you got to do. You took an oath. I love my uncle. You shouldn't have got in this gang, man. When you join certain shit, it override your family. When you get in the mob, you automatically know you can get your whole family whacked off by breaking certain rules. You endangering your family when you join certain stuff. Because I'm just saying, they'll be used as tools against you when you get in stuff like, because in the military, man, when you get in these big top secret killing groups, they don't get, nigga, these folks in these groups will kill their own mama, bro. They really about that life. See, y'all don't know that. Well, Sanchez, how they gonna get the American military to turn on its own people? Bro, they don't need everybody. The people that's in the American military that's gun-ho and like to kill, them the ones that can't wait to go and do it. And most of them ain't even from here. You'll be surprised when you get in American military and you start moving up the rank, the less American it get. But that's the same thing with politics. You get into politics in this country, and on a local level, everybody Americans. And you go to moving up in politics and realize, damn, a lot of foreigners in these high positions. Yeah, bro, the Americans ain't running shit. The foreigners run this country. This is facts. When you move up in these positions of power, and the higher up you go, the less American that the power get. I'm telling you now. And that's in all of these industries and departments. And so When they got AI and drones and advanced technology, they don't need the whole military, bro. They got some units, y'all, because I was in the military. They got enough good old boys and proud boys and militias and units all across America to take this shit back to Jim Crow tomorrow. That's right. And all of the black folks in the military and folks who, what y'all saying, they ain't gonna turn on their own people. You gotta realize most black people don't join the military to fight. So when the government send troops to your city, they're sending the fighters. They're sending a particular squad. That's the infantry. In all of these military branches, the white boys and the foreigners make up the authority, the people who really got their hands on the guns. So I don't know why y'all think that it's a lot of black people and just regular minorities high up in infantry positions. Like, a lot of our people ain't joining the military to get over the weapons, the surveillance systems, the security. They're not doing that. They taking the easy job. They want to be cooks, chefs, you know. And what the foreigners is doing, they literally infiltrating the DOD through the infantry systems. Now, the fucked up thing about it, they sending the Americans to die first, and the foreigners can do less, take less risk, and move up in rank. And this is the infiltration. It's rigged. You a black man, you get in the infantry, it's gonna take you longer to get ranked. You're gonna be in more violent situations. Right? I'm just saying the shit rigged up. But see, like I said, these folks join the military. They said, point me to the guns. I want to control the country's guns. They ain't gonna leave a weapon and a firepower in your hand. And they don't want Negroes to get in them positions unless you're gangbanging and killing each other with your firepower. But you don't got a lot of black folks that want to be Navy SEALs. They want to be spies and goddamn, shit like that. So when you get in these positions, that's when you start realizing, oh, this shit is racist, is rigged up. It ain't a lot of our people in those positions, and you ain't gonna make it there easy either. A lot of proud boys, I'm telling you, they are in these positions. And with the higher up you go in the military, the more data you can access. So when you start getting this high rank in these militias and these different units in the military, you got to die under a top secret clearance oath, because you know so much through you working with these data systems that if you ever turn on America, you have a lot of information, let's say. These folks own you for the rest of your life, man. And when you get down, you got to realize they gonna spy on you just like you trying to help them spy on us. So it's a dog eat dog. It's just cold. Because the people who move up the power got to give up their privacy too. And then they gonna help them take your privacy away. And they have no problem helping them take your privacy away and surveil you, because they join the mob and they always being watched. Because they done moved up so high in the damn cabal. But listen at this again, though, so we can keep it in context here.
Because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
So here he's talking about the future.
Let me give a shout out to Mama. I just got here. Can you recap? Just got off work. Sorry about that, Mama. I'm on the road, but I'm gonna lead this up, so just you'll be able to play the replay when we get out of here. But much love and respect to you, Mama. Appreciate your support.
Because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
So why would we have a goddamn private foreigner policing Americans? This should be a government department that's created with U.S. taxpayers' dollars, and this should be manned by people who was born and raised Americans on this country. Otherwise, you're a spy. You're a damn spy. Ain't no way around that. Guess what it's called when a third-party private entity that's foreign is controlling the surveillance and data systems in your country? That's called spying on you. It would be called protecting us if it was American control. But if it's controlled by a foreign entity, that's literally the definition of spying on us, bro. That's literally the definition of it, bro. A foreign entity that's surveilling another nation on a land, right, with certain equipment and systems. What makes that spying is a foreign nation doing it. It ain't spying if our American military doing it. Now, the question is, why don't the American military want to create a department for this? Because they want this privatized. They can't spy on its a fucking government can't spy on its own citizens, y'all. Don't you know that our government can't spy on us? The moment they do that, they're acting anti-constitutional. They have become China. So how do they become China but get around the Constitution? They outsource this work to third parties like Larry Ellison. They get third-party contractors that ain't even American, that ain't even under no oath. They didn't take no oath. Guess what, yo? Certain jobs in America, it requires you to take an oath under the Constitution, bro, for real. Ain't no way you telling me that the chief of police in my damn city got to take an oath. But the private company that's policing the entire nation ain't got to take no oath to the people. They can do what the hell they want to do. How the hell that makes sense, y'all? You telling me a damn police writing tickets got to swear an oath. The president got to take an oath. But the people that know just as much as the CIA and the DOD and the Secret Service can be just some regular rich Jew with a sweater on. A regular private motherfucker with money like Elon or this dude. No oath, no constitutional connection or nothing. And he can get this much power in your country, boy, we in trouble. You can't do that no damn where. That's a joke, bro. This a joke of a nation.
Wilson likes control a lot. He's talked about it in the past.
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
So here he's talking about the future of AI. He wants to control, or AI will control everything.
And whoever in that position ought to have to swear in under an oath, and it ought to be a public government job with transparency. People, I want to, like, why can't nobody see how they take it, how this thing, the corporate takeover is going right now? Like, they running out the corporate takeover. Y'all arguing about some black and white with Charlie Kirk, and you don't see the psyop and agenda behind it, and it be aggravating. And let me give a shout out to Mama. Yeah, it should be against the law and the Constitution. Yeah, that's facts.
All interactions. As you can hear it, the benefit of this is, it's going to keep everybody honest. That's interesting. But wait a minute.
But see, why the hell is an Israeli leader concerned with American public safety? Where the hell they do that at? It ought to show you how goofy it look, though, if your third eye open. Because that's like one of China's allies saying, hey, China, let me work for your police department and your DOD and help you with your out-of-control citizens, man. It'd be like, what the hell you want to do that for? You got to police your own nation, right? That's right. Don't you want to put these systems in your land? Don't you know, like, why? I'll be scratching my head like, why is this other nation so concerned with crime in our ghettos and public safety in America. Like, how does that fucking help you? It gotta be a catch. Now, come on. You don't live in these places. Why are you so scared of the crime, like, and shit? The mass shooters and the violence and the black people is so violent in America, so you can bring in the surveillance system. Look at here.
Of the Israeli government holding a private convention here in the United States. One of the people in attendance at this secret meeting was Judith Varney Shore.
People, is very unusual for one of your allies to give a fuck about crime in your nation. I'm just seriously being real with you. You only see that with America and Israel, and it's a dead giveaway to the agenda. All right?
Shore. She's a former Israeli consul general who was operating out of Atlanta. She was one of the main people saying that the biggest problem that they had was young black people in the United States. But don't worry, they've got some black leaders on the...
Now you got this chick she's part of the Israeli council. So she's an Israeli woman. She's a member of the Israel government, but she has organizations in Atlanta. And that's what I was saying, like, there's a lot of organizations in America that are funded by foreign nations and militaries, and I'm using that word specifically to talk about Israel. We got to start calling them a foreign nation so that it'll hit home. Because it's like they're just they got more power than Americans now. Even the white nationalists are saying it's too much. Nick Fuentes got a rant about Israel. You got all of these organizations in America that's controlling the narrative, and they ain't even American-based shit like Black Lives Matter. You got this woman is a member of the Israeli government, but she got organizations in Atlanta. Come on, she ain't gonna tell the black folks in Atlanta that she's trying to push a Zionist agenda. She probably gonna speak about crime, poverty, drugs, and they don't care about it. It's so that they can put surveillance cameras and police you more, man. Why would the Israelis be concerned about black on black crime, people? And we just heard Netanyahu talk about how he want Israel to be basically at the forefront of this new Sky network, this drone surveillance system.
Here's some Israel politicians talking about social media.
The next thing we will do, is to put restriction on the social media in a way that not allowed to make brutal propaganda in the social media.
So those are Israel politicians talking about the fact that social media needs to...
But listen, here go the key though. Why aren't they worried about brutal propaganda in Israel's social media? Why do you have a whole nother nation trying to police Americans' freedom of speech? And y'all don't think we at war? This is a freaking war, man. Israel is literally at war with American citizens, and our government is on their side. Oh, my God. It's going to stand back and let the beast wage war with Americans, just like the Bible said. The Bible didn't lie. The Bible said when the beast and the AI, because when the Antichrist, the false prophets, that's a system. That's a Zionist system. That's AI surveillance and all that the Bible talking about. It tell you that the government leaders of the world is going to sit back and turn their head while the beast oppress the people with the false prophet. I'm telling you now, it said, go read your Revelation. And we seeing it happen, and we at the brink of that.
To be controlled. Wait a minute, we're going down a rabbit hole here. And then you get conservatives that are on the extreme right that are not happy about this at all.
And so when you get the white nationalists talking shit about it, you know we in a time of revelations. Listen to Nick Fuentes.
The American president has to stand up to.
Hey, people, I'm going to do a goal right now. I ain't going to lie to y'all. I want to thank all of my Patreons, all of my channel members. I appreciate everyone that super chats when I go live, that rock with me. I rock with y'all. I want to drop a bomb and just say I appreciate y'all. Before I continue, just want to say I appreciate y'all. I also want to say I am starting a goal, and I'm going to see if we can get, let's do something small, like, let's have 5 people send in $5. Just something small, just to a small goal. You know what I'm saying? And we'll put that up there for an hour, and we'll celebrate by opening the phone lines at the end, just to get us a little goal going. You know what I'm saying? Get people to donating. It ain't gotta be much, you feel me? Shout out to the Through Her Eyes Trucking. Thank you for the donation. Can I ask an off-subject question about your beats? At me in the chat room, go right ahead.
To this tiny country. You know, for all people say, oh, you think they run American
are not happy about this at all.
The American president has to stand up to this tiny country. You know, for all people say, oh, you think they run the world, they're so tiny. The American president has to stand up to them and say, you are going to stop right now. And you're.
But the irony of Nick Fuentes saying that, though, is he's scared to even mention their damn name. He's telling the president to stand up to him. He won't even stand up to him. He's speaking in code. He's saying this small little nation that controls everybody and think they run everything. We know who he's talking about. We call them the small hats. But what I don't like is, bro, you talking about telling the president to stand up to him, and nigga, we won't even mention these people's name without fear of censorship. Like,
stupid.
They got everybody in America trembling in our boots, and we want to know why they're in charge. Shout out to Marlon Wells. He said, a lot of our politicians are dual citizens of Israel, as well as the people of Israel are dual citizens, thus the comfort factor. And it's a conflict of interest, Marlon, for sure. It's a conflict of interest. And I'm showing you how they exploit it with these data breaches. Ain't no way, bro. It shouldn't be you can join our military because you our ally. Bro, if we can't join your military, you can't join ours. That's right. It's a safety measure. Secrets. You got Israeli people that can join American military, but we can't join theirs, so they can come here and get top secret clearances, learn all of this information under oath about how our shit ran. They getting into places of security in the DOD where they are privy to data about all Americans, and they go back and join their own military. And you can't go join a military.
You're going to obey. And if you don't, then we're going to pull the plug. I said it last night. It is past time for that to happen. But would you like to know why the American president can't do that? It's because they control our system.
Shout out to Kristen Smith. She said, keep up the great work, bro. Flat power. Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you to everyone that's supporting the show. I am Kiera. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, man, let's take a minute for me to go back and give y'all some more information in the form of notes real quick, and we'll play some more clips that I want y'all to see. But here what I want to talk to you about Israel and American government relationship, right? Some more stuff that's gonna blow y'all mind, right? Okay, so let me give a shout out to Rogue Knowledge. Said, keep up the work. Will do, roger that. And so when I was telling y'all about the Israel military working with Microsoft, the Israel military working with Azure, remember, Trump is Israel's man, and he the one got the tech bros in government. Come on now, people, put 2 and 2 together. Israel Unit 8200 is their main military cyber unit, and the infrastructure that it was using to spy on Americans was created by Microsoft. Talk about the tech bro conflict of interest. It's so many conflicts of interest and anti-constitutional situations that Americans ain't talking about while they trying to be Charlie Kirk investigators. They being distracted. Shout out Marlon Wells. He said, a lot of Israel military are American citizens as well, but of a certain shade, if you get my drift. Okay. Take notes. Israel has worked with or pressured tech platforms on content moderation. Do y'all hear what I'm telling you? Israel has been known to threaten tech platforms. These are private corporations, and they will militarize these against their own civilians. And we see that in America. Through Her Eyes Trucking, thank you once again. When I purchase them, am I allowed to use them in videos without a strike? Yep, you are. And also, am I wrong for calling Trump the new Obama, aka puppet? I think is all a script. Now listen, using my beats and videos without a strike, I want to see. Let me. I'm gonna have to get back with you on that as well too, because I lease them for like artists, so I need to look up on how that'll work. Because I ain't gonna even front. I never thought about that. Maybe some artists will give me some game on how to go about that. Yo, does anyone know how I can sell my beats to a third-party company that let people use them for like background music, and I just get like a percentage of royalties, and they are responsible for tracking that particular instrumental and collecting the spend, so to speak? Let me know, can I do that? Because I got a DistroKid, and I'm thinking maybe I ought to release my instrumental beats through DistroKid, and because it has some sort of software to track if someone play my songs, so I'm guessing that'll work for my beat instrumentals. Someone educate Bro Sanchez, hit my Gmail, talk to Bro Sanchez at Gmail. Let me know how I can make money being a producer, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm old school. Back in the day, I walked around with a hard drive, and I stuck my hard drive in your computer, and you said, give me that beat, and I just drug it to yours, and I put soul on it, and you gave me like $500, and you can do whatever you want. Now, that's old school. But it gotta be a way I can step my game up in 2025, find a way to monetize my joint, because I don't know how they making money from beats now. And I know it ain't from selling it to artists, because artists is stealing niggas' beats. Shout out to Awakening Minds. He said, Trump and Netanyahu press conference today, bro, a couple of hours ago. Okay, let me open that up, and we gonna definitely check that out. Let's move it over. It is 42 minutes, so yeah, that's gonna kind of extend the show. Maybe we'll play it at 2 times the speed. Shout out Leonard Robertson. Thank y'all, man. You're an awakening for the love. Let me give y'all some more of this knowledge, though. Israel, one thing we got to realize, a strategy of Israel it can control the narrative in any nation by pressuring the tech brothers in that country. When we say that the Zionists like to take control over media, all right, that's what I'm saying. What did Netanyahu just say? He said we got to do something about social media and censoring people on social media. Let me play to you what the Israel. Let me play you. It's important that I be thorough with the receipts. So
that's interesting. But wait a minute. Here's some Israel politicians talking about social media.
The next thing we will do, is to put restriction on the social media.
Now, guess what? You just can't start restricting American speech on social media just because they saying a bunch of stuff about Israel you don't like. Because if you come out there talking like that, you're going to be met with a whole bunch of pushback from Americans. So guess what they doing? They're saying, so what Israel is doing, they running a military psyop on Americans. And that military psyop is called a mass shooting psyop. And this man is gonna accomplish his end goal, which is to censor what Americans can and can't say on social media in a way like we've never saw before. In a way that lets you know we've arrived in a dictatorship. Shout out to Mama. Why does the military allow this? They're supposed to protect us. Well, the military, they ain't owned by the people no more. They're owned by the corporations, which is why, and that's the same for the police, which is why the police ain't there to protect and serve citizens. They just there to come pick up the body after the fact when you got shot. So how that's protecting you? Where are the police mainly patrolling that in the city? Around corporate buildings, Walmart, Nike. The police work for the corporations. The police are like asset protection security for your stores in America, for your corporate stores. They're not there to protect you from getting hurt. Now they will. But that's not their main job when they say protect and serve. It's protecting the bottom line of the corporations. If you lingering around a store, if you keep looking like you a threat walking up in that business with a hoodie on, the police are really activated when you making a scene in corporate areas. But they gonna be slow responding to a shooting in the hood. I'm just saying. Shout out to Von Hall, man. Much love, Vaughn. Supporting the knowledge. Thank you for all you do. And I thank y'all for supporting what I do. Means a lot. But look at what I'm sharing with you guys. Look at here. You see how they opening up the door? Social media linked to mass shooting. Now we know that's bull crap. We got to look at your mama and your daddy if we talk about mass shooting. Because look, when Columbine happened, TikTok went around then. That's right. It's been mass shootings before social media. Marlon Wells, much love. Satan Yahoo got problems with the truth. Yes, Satan Yahoo got, hey, crazy. Hey. I like that. Satan Yahoo. Yeah. So they have been running a psyop of mass shootings for the past decade because they've been had this agenda to take over social media. So when that man said his agenda about social media up there, when you see all the mass shootings play out, that's the agenda that he was just telling. It's not going to roll out how you think. He telling you what they going to do. You just don't know how it's going to look when they do it. And you're witnessing it. The mass shooting psyop is pushed by all of the mainstream outlets that these people own. And want me to tell you how I know it's pushing their agenda? Because all of the small hat control big platforms, the major media platforms in America, when they're covering the mass shootings, the first narrative that they bring up is social media. It's easy to fake mass shootings. The people who own these media outlets are crisis act. They got crisis actors and puppets staging events, and it's a war to take power from Americans. All of these news stations shouldn't be coming to the same conclusion. Somebody ought to say, why don't we start looking into the background of these shooters? Because guess what happens in law enforcement? In law enforcement, criminal psychology, when they dealing with serial killers, they want to know about your childhood, your upbringing, your mama, your daddy, were you abused? They not asking you what YouTuber you subscribe to that made you go do that shooting. Because think about it. If social media influencers can make suburban young white boys go assassinate political figures in America, then the problem ain't social media influencers. It's how easily influenced y'all white youth is. If the leaders in Israel is saying that black American youth is a threat to their youth because of how we acting, then we ain't even the problem. The problem is how you raising your children to levitate toward bullshit, because there's a lot of black people who don't act that way. So how you got black people in America, they don't even feel like the worst threat is black people behavior because they raised their kids better than that, and they kids ain't ratchet like these rappers and these drill rappers and all that. So if the American rappers can influence Israeli children, but you still got black families who raise good kids who ain't even influenced by it, who's the problem? So they making money from this rap industry while they trying to demonize the people who they exploiting, which is so fucking satanic, you know. So Israel, they will pressure the tech platforms to work on their behalf. And Israeli authorities reportedly monitor Palestinian social media activity in the form of Facebook, Twitter, and all that to detect dissent or security threats. Like if you just being anti-Semitic, quote unquote, forcing your opinion about how they moving, that will be seen as a security threat. See, they've been using the words anti-Semitic for so long, but the words anti-Semitic are transforming to national security threat. So Zionism is going to another level now of tyranny. And there are accounts that Israeli military intelligence agencies use open source intelligence and social media scanning as part of surveillance infrastructure. And they are openly speaking on that. That ain't even a secret. Not, like they letting you know that. Let me see some here. Yeah, so I'm trying. Let me see. See some. So basically, they just they cracking down on what Americans say. So I was trying to find the news clippings for y'all on what they're gonna be implementing on social media to give you some of their words on. the specifics. I had a tab open, but I can't find it. I'll find it. Shout out Marlon Wells. They can't control the narrative with free speech rampant on social media.
That's right!
There's a pattern where U.S. companies and investors invest in Israeli surveillance or security tech sectors. Some academic and policy reports argue that U.S. law, regulation, and the defense industry have influenced Israel's corporate state surveillance model. The quote-unquote special relationship between the U.S. and Israel includes cooperation on advanced technology, intelligence, cybersecurity, and defense R&D. So it is also credible evidence that Israel contributes in various ways to U.S. efforts to guard against domestic and internal threats, which is something that we need to be concerned with, that Israel is basically the #1 influencer and contributor to our DOD. And you don't even know that, like when it comes to counterterrorism, homeland security, cyber, when it comes to matters of policing your own people, most of the third-party companies that are contracted in those endeavors are tied to Israel. So Israel ain't just about infiltrating all of the media outlets. They want to infiltrate your defense industry. So when these people come in your country, they want control over the TV, what people are hearing, what people can say, and they saying, show me where your guns at. They want control over your military, your cybersecurity, your surveillance networks. Like, this is a fucking home robbery, y'all. This is a damn robbery, dude. This is like some pirates get on your ship and say, take me to the captain box. And once they get that, they got the ship, and that's the government seat. They had the ship for a long time. So now they renovating, turning it into a ship that's most suitable to serve them over the people that's captured in this sinking ship. And that's what it is, because the people that control this ship know that it's only a certain time for it sink. Kind of like in the oil industry. When an oil rig is about to dry up, the big company like Chevron or Shell will sell it to a little bit of third-party investor, and they'll milk that oil rig for the very little oil that's left in it, and they'll keep selling it down for cheaper and cheaper till it just ain't no more oil, and they'll sell just the abandoned rig for what, you know. So America is like an oil rig that was spitting out a lot of oil in her good days. There was a good time in America, man, where the investors, the oil was pouring out of this well, out of this rig. But when the oil started drying up and the inflation came, they start to sell this oil rig to other bidders. You see, and they passing this chick down out to everybody take turns with her and put mileage on her. But let me see something real quick. It says here, the contributions are often in joint programs, technology exchange, and advisory/intelligence collaboration, not in overt operations that are publicly documented. Below is, and I'm finna show y'all something. Now we finna get to the good part of these receipts here. But first, hey, Marlon Wells, shout out to Marlon. Basically been running-ish since JFK was took out. Yeah, that's right. Isaac Frimpong, what's good? Thank you. Shout out to the brother Isaac. He says, shout out to you, bro. Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate the love as always. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Israel have collaborated under the BIRD program to fund joint homeland security technology projects. Stop right there, bro. Don't you know that the bird is another symbol for Big Brother, the eye in the sky? And the bird means binational industrial research and development. What is binational? That means two nations working together to do industrial research and development in the form of homeland surveillance and security policing measures on the civilians of that land. How does that sound good? It don't. Only to dummies that sound good. Why do our government need to work with a whole nother nation to police American civilians, but it can go and find bin Laden in his own land in a cave all by themselves? It didn't need no help. They brag that they put men on the moon. They didn't need the help of Israel to do that. This government loves to brag on what this white man done in America. In America, where at least I know I'm free. They love to talk about what they've done all by themselves. We're one nation under God. But when it come to homeland security and policing your people, you need help with that. You know why you need help with that? Because when it come to y'all policing y'all own people, you want to be unconstitutional with it.
That's right.
So you need a whole nother nation's military to come in here and spy on Americans, because you can get around the Constitution if it's a binational program. If it's just all Americans doing it with our own people, our own departments, with our own tax dollars, then you gotta abide by the Constitution. It's a public transparency program. But now it's a binational secret deal where these two nations are working with third-party private corporate companies to police you with surveillance mechanisms and networks and all of that. So they working together with your tech bros, and they can work around the Constitution and bring in this digital dictatorship. So in 2021, 2 projects were funded to develop technologies for first responders and mid-air conflict management. And that was under the BIRD program. A lot of the infrastructure that we see set up today is a binational effort. It's not an effort that's carried out by our government alone. And that's a breach of privacy, a conflict of interest, because this other government is now starting to get more influence and power in the seat of power in America. The problem of our government working side by side with a foreign nation is the fact that that foreign nation is competing for power with our government. But it ain't that they compete. I mean, they bought our government, basically. Our government knows it cannot compete. It's basically bowed the hell down. Like, it ain't really much of a competition as much as it is a mafia takeover. And the people in power here bowing down and kissing that Zionism ring and kissing that wall with their yarmulke on, right? When it comes to money, these people pockets go deep. They basically print the damn money. But in 2014, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security contracted the Israeli firm Elbit Systems for about $145 million. They contracted this firm with government. This is our taxpayers' dollars. You see? Don't you know with half of that, you can create a national government department and man it with Americans? And it'll be small at first because it won't have a lot of manpower in each state, but it'll be the foundation. It'll grow over time to get more manpower in those states. And now you got jobs for Americans. You're taking American tax dollars and giving it to a whole nother nation that ain't American, who you're working with to help you police Americans in a binational relationship. It's money laundering. It's money laundering because Israel ain't held to the standards of transparency that our government is. So our government is going to get their cousin government saying, look, we got all of these hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars that we can't use for ourselves because if we do it, they're going to have an accountant for it. It's public knowledge. It's their money. It's public. They can see our stealing publicly. So we got to find a way to launder these taxpayer dollars through another entity that don't got to be transparent, and we'll break y'all off if you break us off, and we can all get rich off these dumb Americans. So our government has been working with contractors for years with our money. And the problem is we should have restrictions on how much taxpayer dollars you can spend with foreign corporations and entities with contract work when there are Americans that want positions in government in this country.
That's right.
I mean, come on, why don't we pay that money right back to Americans? That's how the economy get bigger. That's how you stop inflation. You stop the generational wealth gap, because now there's so many positions for Americans that can make you 6 figures a year. It's so much untapped money and taxpayer dollars, but Americans can't make no. You scraping to make ends meet when they giving third-party contractors $145 million just to go around and set up goddamn cameras. Oh my God! Come on now, dog. You can open up departments in the city and the county. Brothers will apply and get applications for them jobs. And you can have brothers in technology and STEM. But no, you giving that to the foreigners and the corporate contractors, not the American people. Our tax dollars ain't recycling back to America. They going out of this country, never to be seen again. And you want to know why this thing going bankrupt? Ain't no reciprocity. Do you know how economic system supposed to work? Like an ecosystem, which is why the root word of economics is eco. An echo is something that repeats itself. It gotta come back around and recycle. If the money leave and don't come back to America, your own government is working against its citizens in an economic warfare, y'all.
That's right.
Your own government is acting as a wolf in sheep clothes to extract wealth from its own people and split it with foreign entities. That is the biggest traitorous act. When the people find out what's going on, they gonna be really pissed. And the Bible say that they ain't gonna even care about losing their life to come overthrow this shit that the beast done made. When they catch on, and it may not be in my lifetime, but it's gonna happen. If I can see it now, many people gonna see it coming forward. And the book says that people gonna have visions and see dreams. Have, dreams and see visions. Yeah, wall kissing. Shout out to you, Marlon. You pan. Think about this now. The city can literally, say the state, the county, and the city can split up these budgets among American citizens, create new STEM departments, put our children to work, and distribute that money to American families over decades. But instead, they giving it to one damn company and one contract overnight, like a damn baseball deal. We signed them for $145 million. And sometimes these companies ain't even efficient. You getting half-ass work. And I'm like, bro, you could have spent half of that and put Americans to work and got more work done, but it's money laundering. It's money laundering. They don't, like everybody eating off our ignorance, bro. I can't stress it enough. You know how easy it is to go around and set up these systems? That's easy money. You giving them $145 million to go to these, to just install cameras, basically, y'all. Now watch this, right? In March 2022, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security signed an agreement with Israel's National Cyber Directorate to increase cooperation in areas such as ransomware response, critical infrastructure resilience, technology exchange, and joint R&D. The U.S. and Israel jointly fund science and technology projects via the BIRD program I was telling y'all about. They do this in homeland security and cyber domains. From 2020 to 2022, the U.S. and Israel together contributed to homeland security and cyber efforts through this mechanism. So what are we reading here? That we are living in a country that's now a double-headed dragon. It's a two-headed beast. It's a we're in what's called a bi-nation. I know we think that we're one nation. America is really a dual nation, which is why you always see the president with the Israeli flag.
That's right.
Watch this. Watch this. America ain't just America. It's America / Israel. You know when a woman get married and she keep her last name, but she put the man's last name after hers with a slash. It's like a marriage. So whenever you see the American flag in the seat of power in this land, you will always see next to it the Israeli flag, because we're a dual nation. These two flags are inseparable in our seats of power in this land, because we are a binary nation, if there's such a thing. We are a nation of two powers that have merged to become, and one force. It should be called the United States of America / Israel. I don't know what the hell they waiting on. I mean, advocacy groups assert that Israeli technologies and expertise help protect U.S. airport cities, critical infrastructure, and cyberspace from terrorist threats. Now, what the hell is our military doing? Why the hell do we need Israel doing the job of the DOD? So we're paying billions of dollars to the DOD just so they can turn around and launder that money through Israel and third-party contractors, taking away jobs from Americans. Think about that now. Why do we need these folks in our business? You can't go to their country and get in no cyberspace department in a DOD and you're a whole nother nation. What? That's spying. Ain't no nation letting you come do that. But see, that's why I'm telling America ain't what we think it is, bro. It's a sinking ship that was for sale and it's been bought by the highest bidder. We just saw the videos of what the Israelis want to control. And we are reading here where I'm reading this so for you to tie it in with that. So let me see something real quick. Let me see here. Israel is a long-standing intelligence partner of the U.S. That right there is crazy, because this relationship is only one way, meaning that Israel know about American citizens, but we don't know about its citizens. So when you research the relationship between America and Israel and the DOD and the intelligence department, you will see it's just like I said, it's a one-sided relationship where our government is basically handing over everything to Israel, and it ain't the other way around. Our government officials ain't in Israel accessing data, working with their CIA. It's one way, right? Because our people in power are corrupted, and they basically bankrupting this country for their own gain. And they allowing other nations and third parties to help them, which is very traitorous and anti-constitutional. So the intelligence alliance includes sharing of signals intelligence, human intelligence, counterterrorism intelligence, and analytical cooperation. So this is the data that's being shared with Israel. We was always worried about China to come police Americans. And I'm like, bro, duh, we all should have known it was going to be Israel. And I ain't going to sit here like I wasn't saying China back in the day. China still own America, but they ain't sending a bunch of Asian troops over here to police Americans. I can't even believe we entertain that. But it make more sense for it to be Israel, not even the UN. People say, well, it's going to be the UN troops. But watch this, right? The relationship between the data exchange between Israel and the government is oriented toward external threats. Information from those networks can also be relevant to internal security, like tracking certain citizens that they think are extremists. You leading too many protests that's anti-establishment. And they can be spying on you and your whole family. This is government classified stuff. But the funny thing is that your government working with foreign nations to spy on its own citizens and using the secret classifications to stop its own citizens from accessing public records. And they able to do that because they're saying that ain't our data. That ain't our data. That's Amazon data. That's flock safety information. So when American government, when American civilians say, listen, that's public record. And because it's public record bought with taxpayer dollars, we get to be transparent. I get, as a citizen, I get to access these government records to this information, right? They don't got to be transparent with you because they going to say, we don't own those records, sir. You know, Facebook own that. Some third party, Palantir, you know, some third party. And it explains, like, why would our government spend more money to work with third parties who ain't even as efficient as a government department of American citizens? Because in a government department, you can literally pay them less and get more work done. Like, you know, people who work at the Social Security office and all that. But you rather pay a third party country hundreds of millions in one contract? Yeah, that's money laundering. That's definitely money laundering. Especially when we find out these contractors are all Israelis. So not only are we giving Israel all this money in taxpayer dollars, they are also using that money to compete with to compete with y'all in the form of government contracts. Think about that. We giving these people hundreds of $millions a year because we feel sorry for them, and they using that money to bankrupt America. Come on, man. That's cold, bro. That's some cold work. Let me see some, guys. As with cooperation in surveillance tech generally, Israeli firms may supply tools used by U.S. agencies that detect threats or monitor networks. Now think about that, people. If we giving our government hundreds of millions of dollars because we got beautiful American scientists and children that want to be in STEM, right? Why aren't we making American surveillance systems and then building the infrastructure through American departments? Why are we calling Israel into America to do all this, a whole nother nation? Why do we need Israel over the infrastructure that's detecting domestic threats, and they're over all of our monitoring networks? Don't you know how many kids will love to get them government jobs that's born in this land? Man, I can't stress this enough, bro. So the United States/Israel Advanced Research Partnership Act of 2016 amended U.S. law to promote cooperative homeland security and anti-terrorism research between the U.S. and Israel. Come on, a conflict of interest. Israel all in our business, and we ain't in theirs, though. They all in our CIA, DOD. This institutionalizes a research channel that could indirectly influence domestic security capacities. Duh. There's a historical reporting that Israel have engaged in espionage inside the U.S. Duh. They own all the media. They got every American program with the Zionism agenda. For example, one article claimed that the United States General Accountant Office flagged vulnerability in the U.S. defense contractor security arrangements with foreign-owned contractors, naming Israel as a possible espionage risk. But see, that's basically a bunch of big words to sum up everything I'm saying about Israel taking the taxpaying dollars we giving them for sympathy, right? And they use it to bankrupt America. They ain't using this money to rebuild Israel, because they've already rebuilt Israel, and we still giving these people money because of the Holocaust. Now they're using that money to destroy Babylon from within and rebuild it into New Zion, New Jerusalem. These people they said they taking this money to help rebuild Israel. Okay, help rebuild Israel. It's to help take over America. There is evidence that Israeli technology companies and joint U.S.-Israel research programs have been involved in surveillance, drone, camera, and related systems that can aid public safety, security, or monitoring in the U.S., though in many cases, the details are technical, limited, or not fully public. But I'm finna give y'all some right here. Remember the Elbit system I just brought up? Since around 2014, the Israeli defense firm Elbit Systems has installed surveillance towers. Let me show y'all this. I want y'all to see these towers, because you may have seen these in your city. You may have seen these in your city. And you may think, you may be thinking this may be like the radio people, right? You may be thinking, okay, that's like some radio tower. You're wrong. This is spy equipment. This thing is got a camera. This can do so much. Listen, this ain't even operated and owned by our government, bro. We got foreign spies right here on American soil, because that's all it is. And they using our state, county, and military and police force to protect their spy equipment. Y'all waiting on the government to come infiltrate America with military, and they infiltrating it through social media and internal spy technology through your own government. Y'all waiting on somebody to come over here and drop bombs, and they coming over here dropping antennas and towers. Y'all waiting on a foreign country to come to America and drop grenades, and the foreign country came over here and installed cameras on your street corners. See, you looking for too much too quick. You look like, don't nobody want to come bombing and tearing up the place like that. People don't want to do that. If they can manipulate your mind and police you from within and make you consent to more authority, that's way more better than coming in there with guns and tanks and bombs. Like, come on, we got to get smart.
Stupid.
So, well, hold on. I'm looking for where did I leave off real quick. Hold on. It says, these, now drop, first of all, drop a one if you saw these in your city. Let me drop my one because I ain't capping. I see these all the time. And guess what? I thought that they was radio towers. This spy tech. Yeah, I thought these were radio towers. This spy technology, bro. Elbit systems. They popping up everywhere. And they not, now why aren't they talking about this on the news? Because they promoting black versus white, distracting y'all from what's going on. Now, why they got everybody fighting each other, they popping these up all over the place, and they ain't even telling folks what these are. See how many ones in the chat room. The next time you go and ride through your city, just open your eyes, and you because they easy to miss because you're gonna think it's a radio tower. Look at these so-called radio towers closely. It ain't a radio tower. Want me to tell you how I know? It got a camera on it, bro. Radio towers don't have cameras. So I'm trying to show y'all, next time you ride to your city, if you want to find the Elbit towers in your city, they look like radio towers, but if you look at them closely, it's a camera way up there. It's got a more bulkier technology at the top of it. See, I used to always think these were radio towers. And I never wondered, okay, radio towers don't need a damn solar panel because they're connected to the public power system. Facts. The radio towers in your city are old towers that's literally plugged into like the power system. These are new towers that's freshly installed, and they're not gonna power them on our system. They got their own little solar panels. They don't want to have no connections to the city or public, because then you would have to have some sort of transparency, because you don't want to be a third party spying on the city and saying, yo, but let me use your electricity. That'll be foolish. That's like I'm spying on my next door neighbors and I knock on their door and say, hey, can I plug my camera up in your house? So these easy to spot because They look like radio towers, but the top of them got more going on, is more stuff on them. And they're often connected to their own power stores because they just been installed and they popping them up in secret. They ain't telling you about you. They just popping these things up, man. But they used your money though. So let me see. Let me read to you about these things. Hold on a second. It says these been around since 2014. Facts. That's about how long I've been seeing them. They installed these in near the Mexico border. You're going to see them a lot in Arizona, Nevada, Southwest. And they are really, and let me tell you what these do, right? They are designed to detect movement and monitor these zones with motion, you know. But when you near the border, it makes sense, though. It don't make sense in my city. Think about that. Because if you got these around the border, then guess what? If someone trying to breach and sneak into the American territory, this gonna detect their motion and send a picture and send some real-time video footage. We don't gotta put border patrol out there in big numbers. We can build a perimeter with these. Now, it make more sense at the border than in my damn city when I'm driving through a fucking metropolitan area. But you see what I'm saying? Because if you're trying to prevent people from coming into America, this is dope technology. But why would it be in y'all city? That's why I asked y'all that. I said, how many of y'all have seen these smack in the middle of like residential areas, public areas? And it's like, so y'all are spying on American citizens with this same technology. And why they won't tell us? Because it's a sinister agenda, y'all. It ain't just that. The whole border patrol stuff of you asking them to secure the border is you asking them to hire these same companies to use the same technology to police you with. You think like it's deeper than just the immigrants, right? That's why I said, look, if you saw these in your city, now you see why I'm tripping about it, because it's out of place. Why would you have border technology in the middle of an American like in the hood, in the city? You see what I'm saying? So there you go. We see what's going on. But now let me read to y'all some more about these things. So you're gonna see more of these popping up in America. They still building the grid. Like, you gotta think, bro. They've been building these since 2014. Bro, that is a fucking fire contract. Come on now, people. Come on now. Because listen, once you sign a contract that big, you got work for the next 20 to 50 years damn near. You know how long this infrastructure gonna take? This is the IoT. This is the policing system. You ain't gonna be able to go nowhere in America without getting watched. Okay? So you can try to leave the country through any little rural area, but they got these set up all around the place. So anybody try to walk out the boundary, they know, okay, he left the country at perimeter such and such. They got the coordinates. That tower is an automated spy for a foreign entity that's trying to keep Americans in and telling them they trying to keep immigrants out. Okay? Two things can be true. But what we really need to be talking about is how long the contract is and how much wealth and work that is that ain't American. This contract like is hundreds of millions of dollars over a span of at least 20 years that you ain't got to think about work, and you making top dollar to pop these up all over the United States and probably even Canada. Because it's going to be one system over here. But they got other technology too working in coordination with these things, you know. So now check this out, right? America don't own these. So this is basically a foreign entity getting paid to spy on us while telling you we trying to keep your borders secure. But that's why I said, hey, how many of y'all have saw these in your city? We ain't tripping. We don't live on the damn border. And that's what I'm telling y'all. So you get the point, and I'm going to move on now. So we get the point, like I can keep on going into more stuff, you know, about these drone companies. But we get the point. They basically, they've infiltrated, you know what I'm saying? So at this time, you know, we did reach our goal. I want to clap it up. And because of that, yo, we're going to open up the call lines. I appreciate y'all for valuing my time. So I'm going to give you more of it. Let me open up the Zoom, and then I'm going to drop the link on you. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second, everybody. And callers, get ready. We're going to let y'all call in one at a time. Yeah, like we don't have to we get it. Now I think I've gave you enough information for everyone to be very clear on the Zionist agenda and what's going on. So, I mean, I do have a little bit more information I could read to y'all, but it's more of the same stuff, so I didn't want to be redundant. But I tell you what, while we wait on the callers to come on up, I can actually be sharing some of that in between time. So yeah, there's the link. Let's pin it. And as we rotate the callers, we actually will share some more of this additional stuff here. Come on up, callers. The Israeli origin company Carbine, originally reporting Homeland Security, what an interesting name, provides a platform that integrates video, location, and data streaming to emergency response centers. Their technology is used in many U.S. jurisdictions. Carbine's platform allows for live video, geolocation, and other data from callers or witnesses, enhancing situational awareness for public safety agencies. Let me explain something to y'all. I'm going to let y'all know why this is important while I'm doing this stream. When the media industry first started in America, TVs, radios, all forms of broadcast and communication, the foreigners, the small hats monopolized these industries. And here we are today. We're at a new revolution in America where that's finna be a new form of communication unfold. Like the internet is transforming, and the way we communicate online, like it's like how cable TV was back in the day, and how these people had to buy up every channel, every news channel. It's like right now, our government is allowing Israelis to monopolize the contracts that govern surveillance, Department of Defense, and all that. because a lot of future policing are going to take place through social media monitoring, online activity, the Internet of Things, tracking citizens, you know, data collection, you know. So it's like, yes, this is a new media frontier that they want to monopolize like they did the old days with TV. But through this new media, you know, experience is a whole nother way that governments are going to be policing societies, right? So this is so important for Israel and for these control freaks, these, you know, small hats. And we see our government bowing down and letting them just opening up the door and letting them go ahead and, you know, control all that. So, Marlon, thanks for being the first caller. Let me be quiet and let you go ahead and do your thing, and we'll get people on. Salutes to you. Thanks for joining,
Salutes,
man.
bro. Good work, good work. Man, that, you know, what you're talking about is just right on point, because they can't control, they've been in control of the narrative ever since they had the mainstream media all bought out, to where they could control the narrative easy and people only got one perspective. But with this, we can talk to each other and this perspective changes about as the information exchanges between us, where we can talk to us and they can't just override us, right? You know, we can have that full conversation that they don't want to bring up in the mainstream media. So that's why would he care about us on YouTube as like the president of America, Israel, or Israel, America, whatever? Because when he say something, it speaks into existence. Like he say, take over social media, and then they done got TikTok. You see what I'm saying? So he spoke that into existence. So that put him above us in America, because Trump been trying to shut down TikTok forever. All of a sudden he's speaking in, and they're trying to take over all the social media. So, you know, that's why I say, like, them presidents go over there and that wall suck the soul right out of them. They put that small hat on and kiss that wall, their soul go right in it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That man said that wall, it siphons their soul right out their body when they kiss it, for sure. That's dope. Hey, I think it's somebody on Mortal Kombat that got a fatality like that. One of them chicks, they kiss you and suck your soul out. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's what that
sure.
wall do to them niggas.
They suck the soul right out of them, you know. So they don't talk back to Satan Yahoo. They don't question Satan Yahoo, you know.
No, man.
And they do everything he say, even though everybody is, see, what that social media does is makes everything transparent, because you can go and see opposing points of view. They don't want you to see opposing points of view. They only want you to see and hear what they say. So they always use reverse psychology whenever they talk, and they the victim. Whenever they talk and they've been wrong. They the richest people in the world getting reparations from a country that never did shit to them, but make them rich.
Come on. And then the sad part is when, like, you getting free money, because, like, my thing is this, Marlon. If a person feel moved to give you some money because of what you went through, that's like, think of these, you got people every day, Marlon, you see them on the side of the road, they have a sign up and they say, look, I lost my whole family, can you donate to me? My wife walked out on me, my kids, you know, died in an accident, can you give me for my tragedy? Now, Israel is them people on a government level. They got a sign up saying, look, we went through a Holocaust. Can you give us some money? Can you sympathize?
And they took over a whole nother land already. You know, what else do they need? I mean, they left there and started working on Palestine the minute they left Germany, I think it was. Yeah. The minute they left Germany, they was working on taking over Palestine. And now, you know, like even Charlie Kirk said, Palestine don't exist, and he right, it don't. You done blew it up.
But
You done
see,
destroyed it.
my thing is the man on the side of the road with the sign who went through a Holocaust is optional. I don't gotta give him no money. Yeah, I sympathize, but I don't gotta reach in my pocket. You feel me? But with Israel, our government make us donate to that fucking cause.
And if you need to make up a rule that if somebody speak in criticism of you, that you anti something, and that means that you done broke some kind of law or rule that's become a written rule. Whereas, you know, we have the melting pot of different people here. We have all kinds of people from all over the world here. And then one specific people you can't even criticize, even when they're wrong.
What I'm saying right
How
now
is that
can
America
literally,
still, though?
bro, what we talking about right now can literally get me T-worded. I ain't gonna
Oh, my
speak.
bad.
But look, no, it ain't your bad. I've been talking about it the whole show. See, what I'm
Fact.
saying is, what I'm saying ain't nothing wrong with what we saying. We having an intelligent conversation about the reality of what's going on in our country. But this is gonna be called anti-S word, you know.
Yes,
But
that's what I was saying.
we gonna do it though, cause I'm thinking I should be good. You know, I ain't had no repercussions yet, cause I'm doing it in a respectful, intellectual, intelligent way, and I'm not inciting no violence or nothing. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Right. So, and you know, and it's like a reverse psychology that they keep going, and it's the comfortable, sheltered people that buy into this. You know what I mean? People that don't, like they say, go outside. They come home to their everyday life. They come home to their regular life, and they don't really live in those hoods that have any kind of, you know, turmoil. So, and it's a lot of those people. You would think that there ain't too many places that, you know, that is so sheltered, but there is, and that's those people that are on that mainstream media vibe, and they ain't even on social media because they figure like they getting everything they need to know from the mainstream, which they own all of that. You know, and this been going on since Disney started. You know, this all started with Disney. You know, then the New York, what was that? What's that New York paper? The New York Times, maybe?
Times,
Or
yeah, the New York
yeah,
Times.
yeah, they grabbed hold of that and said, "Oh, we can control the narrative and tell people what they should be thinking about other people."
This Marlon. I'm gonna hear your response on this. This something else I want to read to them, right? Some Israeli drone and counter drone firms are lobbying to enter or expand in the U.S. defense and security market. Is one called Extend Reality, and they have registered lobbying in Washington to push into U.S. defense contracts. So all of these Israeli security companies and technological companies are pushing for more and more government contracts, even though they got a monopoly on them already. And it ain't like they want to enter the food industry or the entertainment. Well, they infiltrate the entertainment industry. I'm tripping. Yeah, that music and all that. But you feel me? They want to be the DOD, the things that's gathering the data on us and all. Yeah, you know.
Let me tell you something. You done already pointed out the cowards. Now, what? By the time they telling us and suggesting, they're already doing it. That's my opinion.
Right. Gotcha.
My opinion is they ain't gonna ask permission. When they inform you that they thinking about it, that means they done put it in position to where, you know, all right, when we lose control of the narrative, we want to narrow it down immediately. We want to tie it down immediately and take over that narrative and snuff out that smoke. You know what I
But you
mean?
know,
Like
my thing
we
is,
welcome the smoke when we want to have a debate, an
Mhm.
intelligent argument. We want to make our case. They don't want to hear that because it might expose something that they don't want exposed. So that's how they
Marlon,
get it onto a local level, to where they
Marlon.
down to the local level.
The
Yeah.
Bible say our people perish because of lack of knowledge. Now, the thing is this right here. It's a simple question. Why would a whole nother nation be more concerned with the public safety of American citizens than its own infrastructure and country? They spending more energy, money, and resources as Israelis on Americans' safety than their own citizens, and we don't see like, bro.
Wait. Remember the last stream we was on when we was talking about this subject right here? We was talking about it, but in a different way. They're trying to expand to a greater Israel. They're isolated over there. Nobody over there like them, and so the whole world want to arrest Netanyahu. Okay, so where are they going to populate? Who are they going to get their population from for the greater Israel? Think about that. Who they going to get their population from? From right here, Judah. He said Judeo-Christian, right? What we got more of than anything else over here.
Yep.
So that's where their population coming from. So they trying to keep they self in order, because this is not something that is Israel. This is as much American dual citizenship moving over there type shit than it is Israel. It's not a separation. Okay, it's a whole lot of Judeo-Christians that's dual citizens or plan to be dual citizens of the greater Israel.
Hey, you know what's crazy?
That's my opinion.
It's crazy because Israel as a nation, their population is like half of their military, which is also something that's kind of crazy because most Israelis they're in the Israeli military.
Well, they are required. Just
right.
like what's one of them other countries was in the Philippines, maybe, or one of them countries where they have to do 3 years. They're the same way over there in Israel.
So
you see chicks running around with machine guns.
But see, that's my thing.
The military.
They come over here and they become pretty little white women in politics, but they go back there and they're a damn soldier.
Right.
And it's like we don't see.
The military is
right.
it's Americans. There's so much. People here don't realize how much of their military is just troops that we had. That's dual citizenship over there. They troops over there, and it's like maybe even more than 50% of their military.
It's just it's so many signs in front of us to let us see what's going on. That whatever happened, we can't even front like the signs when there. We just wasn't paying attention because we was distracted with other stuff, you know.
Yeah, they distract us from every direction. But who they say people like us that's woke, that's trying to get our own shit together. We done been through all of that already. You know what I'm saying? We done went through the civil rights movement. We done went through all that already successfully. That's why they say we they worst threat, because we done survived. We the survivors. Like my mother say, we the black survivors.
They got some in store for black people, and when I figure out, I'm gonna come live, because guess what? Israel targeting black people is so weird. Like how? Because you got the white nationalists that have always said a black man is the problem in America, right? If he felt that way, he wanna enslave us, but you know, you don't enslave a person that's problematic. But anyway,
but we're still they gave us everything. They hit us hard with everything, and we still survived it. Okay, what they're doing now, they did to us. What they're doing over there, they did to us. That's why we relate to it. That's why we understand oppression. That's why we understand the cold treatment, and we survived it. That's why they think we're the biggest threat.
I want to point this out too. Why we the biggest threat too? Because our people have a lot of influence. And she mentioned that. She said that black people, youth is the biggest influence to is the biggest threat. she's talking in particular the influence that we have. Because these people are so paranoid right now because they scared black people in America about to unite with all of their enemies. Because when them people walked out on Netanyahu, they had the same energy that a lot of black people got toward Israel and America, you know? And that's why they trying to really start surveilling us and getting control over social media. Because if I'm Israel, I'm thinking, damn, it's a lot of Americans right up under me that don't like me. And it's a lot of foreign people that don't like me. If they go to communicate on social media outlets, galvanizing crowds with their dialogue, come on, bro, we in trouble. So they scrambling to get control over social media as everyone turn their back on Netanyahu. He's all about, I just played the video for him. You know, he told you his plans, but yeah.
It's about narrative control, though. Because, see, they still need to control the narrative for what they trying to protect, really, is they Judeo-Christian backups. Okay? If them people realize, like, wait a minute, we on Satan Yahoo side? Wait a minute, we the bad people? Because they always hold themselves up as the good people. Like we the savages, or you know what I mean? Or the savages is Gaza, them people over there. No, they're colonizing that area. They colonized us over here. Okay, so we survived colonization. They're trying to colonize another whole. There's like 6 countries over there they want to colonize for a greater Israel. They got to keep a hold of the narrative here and the Judeo-Christian farm. They farming Judeo-Christians to plant over there, if you get what I'm saying. I don't know if I put that in a good analogy, but they farming Judeo-Christians over here to implant over there for their society.
Hey, salutes to that. I'm gonna allow other callers. I'm gonna see if any one of them is a troll first. So stand by. Let me get the first one on. Let me turn your headphones down, Marlon. We never know if we may get a troll. Yeah. Chop Star, can I get a mic check from you? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in. The floor is on you.
So I couldn't even hear nothing at first. I don't even know where y'all was at.
Wherever you want us to be, man. Like whatever on your mind, whatever you called in or wanted to build on, you know. If you don't have nothing right now, that's fine. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, I could wait. All right.
Okay, for sure. Just gotta screen all these callers in the background. Make sure ain't no. Felix, mic check to Felix. How you doing, Felix? Hey, Felix, can you give me a mic check? Just wanted to screen and make sure that you were, weren't a troll. Thank you, man, for joining. So, Marlon, I don't know if you had something else you was building on, but for sure we got these callers cleared. We good now.
Oh yeah, I was listening along, and then when I'm thinking in the way you was talking, they want to maintain control over what they've established here as they base, because they ain't gonna get citizens from nowhere else in the world, and Africa about to unite quiet as it's kept. That's their biggest fear. That's why he mentioned Africa and we're the great friend to Africa. Always when he's talking, you should be thinking the opposite. That's one thing I notice about them.
Mm-hmm.
Always when they talking, they telling you the opposite of what they thinking.
Yeah, well, they say we trying to protect America, they trying to destroy America, and it's obvious when we look around. That's fact.
Yeah, so I mean, you got to be aware of reading between the lines with them, because they reverse psychology is on point with they keep they subjects hypnotized. I mean, literally hypnotized and on some bullshit, talking about some anti-Semitic. Like, wait a minute, we're anti-Semitic? You just shot all them people, man. What you talking about? Hey, well, you can't criticize me. You know who I am, right? And they harken back to something that happened, what, 70 years ago? About almost 80 years ago? In World 1948? They go back to that and they get reparations for that. But the whole time, through all of that, what was happening to us over here? Through everything they bring up, you got to think 1948 wasn't good for us. It was not good for us in 1940. 1930s wasn't really good for us. You know what I'm saying? So it was at the same time that they was going through the Holocaust, so was we. You know, so just like when somebody got mad at Charlie Kirk, one of us got 3 limbs broken and he hung himself with 3 broken limbs. I mean, let that sink in. So really, you know, they peeps, he's safe with, you know, they peeps, really. I mean, the peeps like that ain't really gonna change on nothing, you know, we do. You know, so they got a fan club, you know, that hate all the rest of the people. You know, that's always gonna be against, they got a fan club. But you know, it's half of our political body. You know what I mean? Our half of our body politic. They have that for sure. So it is all about keeping, because when they look at it, when they step back and look at it, they can't see nothing but a genocide. And they can't see nothing but a genocide. When they step back and look at it, there ain't an army fighting back and forth, and they are blowing up the whole landscape. And them ain't all people shooting back at them. Them is just people. So they done lost half their crowd. That's the narrative they don't want. And these people don't want to be tied to that.
Hey,
they don't want to be part of that. You see what I'm saying? 'Cause they calling themselves the good guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to get on?
No, I wanted to give you another, like, throw you another alley oop, like throw some fuel on the fire here with these receipts and that, you know, y'all bill on them. I was talking about the bird program, right? Because that's the whole drone network. That's why it's called bird. But I just played a video of Netanyahu saying he want Israel to basically be over that. But the U.S. Israel Bird Homeland Security Program, what it does is it's got unmanned aerial systems, or what they call UASs. These drones, guess what? I'm gonna play a video for y'all about these unmanned, what they call these UASs. Let me see here. It'll show y'all what I'm talking. Hold on a second. This is crazy. Watch this. Listen.
Well, could AI and drones be the answer in preventing the next
Y'all
mass
hear that?
shooting? One company says yes.
Stefan Dingle visits a local company that is developing real-time technology
can't
to
hear
prevent a
nothing.
mass shooting before it
I got
happens.
my little,
And we
my
want to
little
warn
phone
you,
speaker
some of the
ain't
video
really
you're about to see may be disturbing and not
picking that
suitable
up.
for young children.
Mass shootings in America have
I can hear
become
it
all
now.
too common, from Mandalay Bay to Uvalde and Parkland High School, even one in our own backyard at Brooklyn Homes. In a number of these mass shootings, response times and inaction came under intense scrutiny with law enforcement. Now a local developer in Prince George's County is creating a technology called Pervista that could reduce response times and notify law enforcement almost.
Remember, who was here when I played that other news clip that was showing y'all the drones as first responders and shit? And they ain't manned like the other drones. They straight up AI, nigga. It ain't no human doing nothing. You know? So
Yeah, imagine that. really imagine that AI robot up there sifting through algorithms to decide whether or not you
Right.
live or not.
That's what I'm saying.
Drones are fast.
And they saying it's experimental technology, but they want to use it on Chicago. And hell, that ain't funny. Hold on.
No,
Damn. Why am I'm
yeah.
evil for that? Why the fuck am I laughing at that? But no, I'm just saying it. But they want to use it on
That's
niggas
real,
first,
though.
man. That's
Yeah,
messed
that's
up,
real.
bro.
That's real.
Damn, bro. That's fucking crazy.
They got this
That's fucking
they got this
crazy.
what's it called? It's an airport, but it's like ever since I was little, like I've been driving past it. It's a big old fence that blocked this whole area. And it would say the National Guard, but it would say like 1628, like that's when it was founded. So I always watched it, but now, like if you look at it, they got like it's a new aviation system. Like I mean, school. It's like man, what else? They build robots, all types of shit. That's where the drones come from, cause it's an airport.
They got one of those here in,
It's so messed up
where
what they doing to the hood though, man. Like they telling these folks, cause listen, they got grandma and them saying we need them to come cause these gang members out of control. And it's like I get that, but how they doing it, and it's like the people gonna ask for it, y'all. It's more people in Chicago telling them to bring this in than not, because they don't know the agenda behind it. They think that the government want to keep them safe. So when Trump was sending the National Guard around, it's to pay the way for this Zion surveillance state. Shout out to my sister Demi, and shout out to the brother Ben a Legend. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for
what it
joining.
is, Sanchez.
Peace.
Our peoples are violent. You know, like we got gangs. Yeah, everybody know we got gangs,
Yes,
but
peace.
mostly they fight each other. Them gangs fight each other. They don't fight,
Yeah.
but they promote that as if we're the biggest threat to them. But then you see them sitting in church, and who come into church and shoot it up?
Pardon me, Marlon.
So Marlon, guess what you talking about right now? Remember when Charlie Kirk got killed by an assassin white boy from the suburbs, and they automatically pointed at black people? Because that's they're using mass shootings to target the hood, which is why they saying they using the drones to neutralize mass shooters, but ain't no mass shooters in Chicago. That's drive-by shooting. See, mass shooting is linked with political violence. Ain't no political violence in these hoods. It's gang violence.
What is to piggyback on what you're saying, they use these types of things to aim all of the laws directly at us, at what we're doing. You see what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't you be trying to aim that at the people who are actually, because I was watching a video earlier today, and the sister was on there critiquing what happened over there. When it's a white shooter, they don't. If it's a person of color, they point that out immediately. Like that's the headline. But when it's one of them, it's just a suspect.
Hey, have y'all noticed the data centers that they're building in all the urban areas? Is that maybe a reason? Because they're doing that, like,
because check it out. All of these new surveillance systems got to roll out in coordination with the data systems, because when you surveilling people, you're gathering data on them every day. You know how much computer space they need for that on every citizen. That's part of the
Sanchez, I work at one, bro.
Okay, so I'm gonna be quiet. Yeah, you got it. I'm gonna let you talk then, brother. Thanks for calling in. Shit, I'm gonna let you talk.
Well, real quick, peace. This has been a legend with the music. Remember, supposed to be emailing you about the tracks.
I do that. I knew I remembered the name. I'm trying to see what it was for. For sure, I remember now.
Yeah, we were working on the event center. We just got that on the way. Hopefully, we'll be able to
secure it and get you over to South Carolina, and whatnot.
I want to do it, man. Hell yeah. I'm gonna be checking my emails for that too. Yeah, but hell yeah.
All
Talk
right,
to it.
so the data center is tied to what they got something called worldwide data bricks. Y'all know what's going on. You already all know what's taking place. See, they need the water in the area. You already know they dammed up all the lakes, right? Ferguson was Lake Marion out here in South Carolina, a town called Ferguson, Oscarville on the Lake Lanier, all those places. So they need more for the data centers because these quantum computing devices, they need all this water and they need thermal, what I'm saying, pressure and all that to, diffuse everything that's going on in their systems because they need to compute at a faster, higher rate. So all those good soil, all that areas are like in urban, areas, you know what I'm saying, as well as rural areas. So they're building them nationally. That goes in coordination with the new CBDCs they're going to be rolling out soon. They got to, what I'm saying, that goes, in coordination with the scripted play that they coming from the King James version of the Bible and everything, Mark of the Beast and all that. So yeah, y'all got it. Y'all rolling with it.
Yeah,
Y'all all going on.
In the UK, in the UK, they trying to impose a digital ID over there. That's a new
Oh,
thing
they
they're trying to
they
do
got
too.
that going over here too, or they just starting or something like that. I know, right?
Yeah, but
Man.
this digital ID got everything about you on it. It ties to your money. So
And
that
see,
that the
you know
way that
what's
biblical
crazy,
statement
Marlon?
reads that you can't like buy or sell
I know.
without.
Listen, let me tell you something, right? When I joined the Air Force, we had a digital ID system on base, and that's like 20 some years ago. It was called BIDS. It stood for Biometric Identification System. That meant that there was like a chip in our card, and that chip in our card had everything about us stored on that little chip from our medical records and all that. So no matter what you did on base, you took your military ID and it was like the key for it. It was like a digital you. See what I'm saying about the world? They making the world like a big military base, a military state, a police state, right? And they put securing the borders is what they do on a military base. They put that's like a border, a gate. People, they're treating us like we're in the military. And my whole thing is the only thing they ain't doing yet is curfew. Let me check your ID. But that's coming. You see what I'm
But
saying?
if you have one of those IDs, they're gonna be able to lock onto it wherever you at.
And guess what? Here go the thing. If you lose your military ID, it is a bitch because you can't do nothing on base without your damn ID. Now watch this. In America, without your digital ID, you ain't gonna even be able to buy and sell.
Yeah, that's what they was talking about in the UK. They fighting on that shit right now, though. There's an opposition to that. It ain't just a smooth rollover. There's a ongoing battle on that right now, but that's what they battling about, though. That's one of their issues right now.
Hey Sanchez, you think I could share my screen? I could show you something real quick.
What you want me to pull up for you? I got you.
It's on the maps. So like
Well, yeah, let me see here.
I just wanted to show something on the maps.
Go ahead. You got it.
All right.
We can see it. There you go.
All right. So look, see this airport right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then I gotta tell you, look, they got this right here. And this an Oak Cliff, this the hood, this right here in Dallas, you know what I'm saying? And then look, right here, they got this. Right? So they already ready over here. And then look, this right here. So look,
All of those are data centers, huh?
nah, look.
What are those?
So look, I'm gonna click on the website. Look, this is exactly what you're talking about.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Our people are amazing. Good job, bro.
They're making all the drones right there.
That is crazy, dude.
I used
He
to do
just put the
security.
yeah.
What a spot down here because we got General Dynamics. They build all the ships down there on the coast. We got General Atomics. They build all them drones, those like spy plane drones.
What the fuck was that? What?
It's a big ass drone. I
Yeah,
swear I done seen
them
these in
drones
Bro,
person.
like that.
wait a
Yeah,
minute. So
they got drones
read that
that's
down
big
there.
as
Look at that.
airplanes. Though what I'm saying, they got drones. They like airplanes. I know you
out
Bro,
seen
I done
one.
seen
damn,
this
that's
shit in
crazy.
person.
Whoa, shit.
And they
So
quiet.
you telling me
Damn.
sometime in the sky we think we looking at an airplane, but that's a big ass like little like you think it's a little plane that
Sanchez, you
It
can
look like a
see
big ass boomerang. Like
you can
somebody threw
see
that bitch.
the lens they
yeah,
got.
do.
The lens they got on that thing, man, that looks down. They can see like mosquitoes. They could pinpoint a mosquito, I think. I mean, you should see that up close. It's crazy. When I seen it up
Bro,
close, the
remember how
big
you said they had a
lens
brain of
they
their
use.
own? My bad,
Yeah.
I ain't mean to cut you off.
Uh-huh.
But remember how you was talking about how they have a brain of their own, the drones and shit? Look, this what it say right here, Goose Autopilot.
I wish I could make
That's
that
so
thing.
crazy. It say it's a navigation solution for unmanned vehicles. I was telling you, these ain't manned. And what's
Yeah.
crazy about these unmanned drones, they got these things artificial intelligent to go on a security patrol at the snap of a. So let's say you got a little fleet of drones on top of some building in little compartments. It can be anything algorithm they can program to trigger a drone to go out and surveil a certain area. And it'll have huh?
Do they have any weapon systems on them?
Yeah,
Not yet, but they coming.
Oh
I'm
no,
pretty
they
sure they
do.
do.
The ones I'm talking about, they got
I'm pretty
weapons.
sure they do. They
They
just ain't
they
got.
got they
My
got
fault,
weapons with
Sanchez. I didn't mean to cut your
they got
wisdom.
weapons with the camera on the weapon. When they fire that weapon, they looking from on front of the missile.
So look, right here, look,
That's the kind of weapon they got.
it say it right here. So like big they started popping out big time when it was COVID, right?
Yeah.
And that when I started seeing them the most. But look, it say it right there, because that's what they were doing. They were scanning all the streets. So let's say navigation and measurement, drone surveying, mapping, and whatever.
But
Get
they done had this
solutions.
technology for years, though. They had this
But
for
you know
years.
what we
It's just
ain't talking
expanding
about,
right
Marlon?
now.
You know
It's
what
expanding.
we ain't talking about? Now I
What's
live in
that?
a big city. I live in Vegas, right? We
Uh-huh.
already got driverless cars that be driving through the city by themselves in Vegas. Now watch
Your
this.
neighbor too in Arizona.
Now
They started it.
guess who's gonna be start getting the contract on most of the driverless cars? The Department of Defense, and they're gonna be use them to surveil the ground. They're gonna work in coordination with the Sky Network drones. So you're gonna have AI cars, AI drones in the sky, and then later you're gonna have AI humanoids. AI gonna get a body and walk around like a fucking human in a minute, and that's when it's really gonna be crazy.
You been brave enough to get in one?
What?
Have you been brave enough
No, hell
to get
no.
in?
Hell no.
Hey, you gonna either
I
have
I
smart
seen
things.
iRobot. That was one of the movies I watched a whole bunch of times back in the day. And iRobot was crazy. When he got in that car and the robot rolled up on him and said, "You are experiencing an accident."
Yeah.
And he had to fight the robot. So
Think about
yeah,
this though.
once you
Listen. Remember RoboCop? Watch this. RoboCop was a humanoid drone robot human that was a police. But watch this though. And RoboCop had stuff that the regular police in his academy didn't have in his force. RoboCop had drones. RoboCop had get what? RoboCop can get out of his car and his car will drive itself and go back to him, catch up with like the Batmobile. So even in RoboCop, way before its time, they was showing us this whole system, like little pictures of it. You know what I'm saying?
The technology they have is like 50 years ahead of us right now. The stuff we finding about, out about, they just like, they giving us a little at a time instead of giving it all to us where we go in shock. We flip out. We flip the hell out. But they so far ahead of the general
You know what?
population.
They're going to give it to us in a way to make us ask for it because we feel like we being left behind by other nations like China. You know?
It's the narrative thing. It's the narrative thing. But they'll use it on you for 20 years before they even tell you about it. That's how bad it is. They'll use it on you for 20 years before they tell you about it. So as we find out about it, it's been around already for 30 years. Been used for 20.
Yeah,
and now they're about to advance even further. They might as well drop this one on you because they're about to advance even further.
Hey, Mark. Okay, yes, yeah, do your thing. My bad.
They're gonna be sitting there talking to you, AI, before you realize that AI is an AI. He's gonna be talking to you. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
AI gonna have a body. You giving AI a body. That's what this robotics is giving AI a body and mobility. That's all. It's giving AI a body and mobility. And that's why they gave us Terminator way back in the day. Remember how long ago they gave us Terminator?
Bro, they're one of my two favorite movies, Terminator and RoboCop, when I was a little kid.
Yeah. But now, come on. You think they ain't got that already? That they even showed you dogs that can combat. They look like dogs, but they can combat.
Hell yeah.
They can carry weapons. They can be guided, so they've already developed robots that can run faster than us. You think you know how the cops get to chasing? And I don't know, in my hood, we used to laugh at that.
You're
I was
right.
always
Boston
running.
Dynamics.
The cops
You're
get
right. Look
all
at
that
Boston
gear on and
Dynamics.
they get to chasing us. Yeah. Now you're going to have something that chase you all the way down. You know what I'm saying?
Let me read something to y'all about AI. There will be a day when the beast will walk the earth with man. Now, the beast is like Satan or whatever, but the reason they emphasize in Revelation that this beast gonna walk around with man is because they're saying that artificial intelligence will assume a body. It will be a humanoid that's gonna have rights, just like a police dog. It's gonna enforce the law on you and all that. And so in the book of John, chapter 4, 2, and 3, the reason I'm going to the Bible is because ain't nothing new under the sun, and the Bible can tell you what's going to happen in our time before it happened, because it already happened before on the earth in their time. So watch this. It say, every spirit that confesseth that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this whole scripture, like with Jesus Christ, is just saying that man has an immortal soul inside of him. The church have always denied that. So if you really translate this from a Gnostic perspective, that's just saying all the spirits that's saying what science saying, we can't prove man's soul, we can't prove life after death. You saying Christ didn't come in the flesh. You saying that the spirit of man don't dwell within his body, or that man is not a player character. See, this is the scripture that's telling you you ain't no NPC. You got a soul. Christ has come in the flesh. That's all every last one of us fallen angels. But look, there are spirits here that didn't come in the flesh. They only exist as the flesh. They don't have a soul. They only exist as a flesh. That's AI. That's a humanoid. And it's moving around under a program, not because it has a soul. The Bible is telling us that if you read this and don't notice, you go into the fairy tales. Watch this. It say right here in this scripture, it say, every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ come in the flesh is not of God. Watch this though. This finna tell you what I want you to hear. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. This scripture is telling you about an entity that is acting like it's going to save humanity, and it ain't got a body yet, but eventually it's going to have a body. But it's been in the world before it had a body. And what that is, that's AI. Listen, let me say this. That's AI. That's AI what it's talking about, because they are passing AI off like the savior, like what's going to be the answer for all the world problems is AI. But AI literally going to become God. The beast is that's the spirit of that's the false Christ or the Antichrist posing as the Messiah, but really trying to rule you. Yeah.
The last Matrix movie, the end game one, where he went to all the simulations, and then he went to where that giant AI robot was. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How they launched, and they went to where the AI mind.
It's like them spider looking things with the bunch of eyes on them and shit.
Yeah, but they went to what controls them. You know what I'm saying? They were a hive mind.
Yep, that's what. Yep.
A big giant AI hive mind.
And they had assumed the body inside the matrix in the form of, and they had made regular human bodies for themselves in the matrix, and you couldn't tell that they was part of the hive mind. That's facts.
Exactly.
Let me. Yeah, go ahead.
Connecting the dots that you was just lining up. You had lined them up. I just was trying to connect the dots there.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. It say in Revelation 16:13-14, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, for they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth. So I'm just throwing some scriptures at y'all. I ain't gonna try to reach them. I'm just saying they could suggest what we saying here. But these just some quick ones right off the back. I would like to be more thorough with this. It say when the Matthew 12, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and I don't know how that one would. I'm just doing a little chat GPT. But there are a lot of spirits that speak along the lines of this entity being on earth that is an evil entity, and in one day it's going to literally manifest on man's physical dimension, and it's going to leave this, like they say that the devil is a spiritual entity, but they say in the end of days the devil ain't just going to be spiritual no more. He going to be a physical body that's walking around with man. And that's what I'm talking about when AI, when they start letting these humanoids and drones walk around and dwell among man and shit,
Yeah, that could be it, because they got the quantum computers, maybe he gonna walk right out of a quantum computer, go into one of these robots. You think they're a sentient robot already?
I think so.
There's a sentient robot there. She got a name and everything, though.
Sophia or some.
Yeah.
She worked with the UN.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's my belief. I think one of the biggest things we're gonna wake up to is that the people that was on Earth before Adam and Eve was this species of, they was here before us. Even the Bible say that the devil was on the earth before man was here. This hive mind been here, just like in the Matrix. Like the AI, the hive mind in the Matrix, they was the first ones to populate the Matrix before the humans start going into the Matrix from the other side when we destroyed our old world. Go look at the Matrix script.
Or this world could exist simultaneous with us outside the rings. You know what I'm saying? Further out on the plane than the circle we live in.
Salutes to that for sure. I ain't got no, yeah, but I will say this. I got to get up out of here, unfortunately. And I really wish I can go longer. But salutes to everybody. Man, it was a productive and constructive stream.
Yes. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
I appreciate y'all. Real talk. Peace and love to y'all, brothers and sisters. See y'all on the next one.
Peace, peace.
Peace.
And thanks for all the donations and support. As always, salutes to the channel members and Patreons. Peace and love, everybody. This stream will redirect y'all to my stream that I have after this one. It's on 3i Atlas. You don't want to miss my stream on 3i Atlas when I'm breaking that agenda down. And people, if you are a musician, if you into music, if you like my instrumentals and my beats, I will actually be live again tonight. They like, he live online. Yeah. But yeah, later tonight, you know, I'm going to be up making beats from scratch on my beats channel. And yeah, check me out over there. Matter of fact, I'll drop the link for it. I'll share it with y'all right now if y'all interested in it. If you stick around before we get out of here, let me share that with y'all. Hold on. All right, here go the channel right here. I'll spam it. Yeah, go sub up now. Do it now. You know, if y'all want to see me live in the after hours, a lot of it on the after hour shift. It's a little thing that we got. A lot of people who know, they catch me on the late night hours, smoking blunts, just making music, and I be chatting with people, but I don't really do a lot of talking. I'm just kind of in my therapeutic producer mode. So if you want to see the process of me making music and stuff like that, I do that a lot, you know, so I'll just stream it live, you know what I mean? So we trying to grow that over there. Appreciate you for subbing up, Main House. You know, sometime I make some whack beats, sometime I make some bangers, but y'all can see the process of how this thing go. And it's therapeutic, you know what I'm saying? And we just be chilling, chatting and stuff, you know, in the chat room. Yeah, hit that link in the chat before we get out of here. That's to my music channel. Go on over there, because all of my beats is there. Y'all be like, Sanchez, I like that beat you played. Every beat that I play is over there. It's uploaded as a video. It's in the beat catalog. Let me show you. And you got the links where you can lease the beats. So go sub up to my artist channel. We trying to grow it. Trying to get to 3,000 subs. But all the beats are there. I'm going to be putting all of my music there, the world on some bullshit. All of my tracks, I'm going to be putting another section here But that section is on my main channel, but I should have it here. I just thought about that. But my newest music is here, right? And I'll be adding new music here too. I still make music. I just ain't have the time to hit the booth. But yeah, be on the lookout for new music here. And like I said, I'm always live cooking up, but I'll be taking my live streams down. But moving on in the future, I'm going to start leaving my live streams up. I don't know why I be taking them down, man. But you will see a section on here called cookups or live stream live cookups. You're going to see that tonight because I'm about to go live over here tonight and do some beats. So that's just for therapy. Help me wind down and mellow out. I'd do that even if I wasn't live. Did y'all hit the link and sub up? Let me keep spamming it because we got 500 people. I want y'all to sub up. You know, everyone who interested in the music tip. So there we go. And matter of fact, I'm going to put this link in the video description as well. See y'all over there. We're going to be live in a minute on my beat channel around about 10 p.m.